I have absolutely no idea what is going to happen over the next 2.5 to 3 hours, but nonetheless, what is going on, hockey fans? It is, as always, your host, the host of the Devil's State of Mind podcast, Neil Villapiano, along with my good friend and coworker, Kyle Manifold. And we welcome you here to this live watch-along right here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel. And tonight is Game 4 of this Eastern Conference semifinals between the New Jersey Devils and the Carolina Hurricanes. Devils coming off a blowout, 8-4, probably the dumbest hockey game I've ever watched in my life. Nonetheless, the Devils won it and are now only down 2-1, a chance to even up the series at 2 games apiece with a win tonight, while Carolina looks to rebound and take a commanding 3-1 series lead heading back to Raleigh for game number 5 on Thursday. Kyle, how are you doing?
Well, I just kind of had to pour myself a bit of a drink tonight because I think I need it. I need it.
Well, I always come prepared. I think we're both ready to go for this one.
It has been, first of all, we didn't do the game on Sunday, which people were a little sad about. So I'm unfortunate. Sure. I know we should have, but I know we're back for it. And obviously, of course, it was the game that scored like 12 goals.
Yeah.
Of course, that's how it goes.
Yeah. But maybe it's us. Maybe it's really us. That's the issue.
Well, I think we're gonna find out.
I think we'll find out a lot tonight.
It's honestly been an insane 48 to 72 hours. It's been crazy. I mean, you see, obviously the Devils game on Sunday, which we're gonna get into before they drop the puck tonight. The Leafs being down 3-0, they're cracking up 2-1. Vegas just pouncing on Edmonton last night, which was unexpected. The draft lottery, which people weren't happy about. Not happy about at all.
Kyle didn't care. He knew his team had the lowest odds of anybody.
Oh, yeah. We could only go up to 6. So I'm sitting there wow, 0.5% chance. Love the odds. But doing that stream last night that you guys were checking out was insane. That was insanity. Yeah. And maybe that's something we can kind of jump into real quick because that's probably the freshest news since we've came back. But then I want to ask about how Game 3 was for you because
of course.
That it was going fine. Okay, nobody's really done anything, right? Okay, Arizona didn't do anything. Oh, okay, that's fine. And then all of a sudden, boom, Chicago up. Oh, they're taking the number 1 pick, and it's like people weren't happy. So I know you wanted to talk about it a little bit, and I was asking people on the stream last night about their thoughts, especially Lance for our Blue Jackets team who was not happy, and Tom, our new guy for the Ducks team who clearly wasn't happy. I wanted your thoughts now on what we saw from the draft lottery tonight, and we have our drinks ready.
We do have our drinks ready. It's going to, I think we need it. Like you said, Kyle, I think we're going to need it considering how this series has gone through 3 games. But yeah, last night in the draft lottery, I first of all, from a Devils perspective, it's just nice that Connor Bedard won't be in the Metro or Eastern Conference. So I will take that. Totally fine. Sorry, I just felt like I had to say that.
That's okay.
But in terms of who ended up getting it, I'm not shocked at all that it went to Chicago because when was the last time that we consistently got the team with the highest odds to win the draft lottery consistently win said draft lottery? Just doesn't happen. The Devils, the 2 years that they won the lottery to get Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes, they were not projected even top 3 highest odds. And they jumped, and they not only jumped, but jumped to the number 1 overall pick. But you can't help but wonder if there was a little bit of, I don't want to say fixing going on or if it's rigged, but it does beg the question of how Chicago was the only team that moved, and they moved to the number 1 pick.
Right.
After coming off 3 cups in 5 years, 2 generational talents, a scandal that they pretty much covered up for years and barely got punished for it. Yep. And through all of that, they get the number 1 overall pick. I'm not so mad that it was an original 6 team or a big market or anything like that. I think I'm more just upset, more or less disappointed that the Blackhawks so easily and quickly get themselves a guy that they can build around. Now, well, I'm not saying you can't build around some of the other guys that are going to be in this draft, but with Connor Bedard being as good as he is, it kind of begs the question. So that's really what I wanted to say about it. Other than that, Kevin Weeks, bad job, my guy. I love you, Weeksy. I really do, man. But the fact that you said Columbus as we're going to commercial break, I heard it in real time, and I'm like, wait, what?
Kidding, right? Like,
Oh, we got to wait a little bit, but
we couldn't hear anything going on, so we
no.
didn't know. Right, we were just kind of waiting, and like we didn't really. I guess the comments section was going crazy last night because that was happening. We weren't really paying attention to it because we were more focused on what was happening in real time. So, yeah. Anyway, Vancouver needed Bedard more, in my opinion. That was tough for Vancouver to get though because of
that was really hard. That was really hard.
Yeah.
You could see from the GM, he was like holding his teeth back. He was like, that would have been nice.
Well, yeah, and I know Dylan was holding it back too, right?
I'll
say this, like, because I didn't really give my huge take last night because I was listening to other people kind of talk about what was happening. I totally agree with you that, like, in the sense that it does seem a little odd that through everything that's happened, they got it. But, like, it's tough for me to say because the GM, Kyle Davidson, he went to my school here, and I actually happened to had a chance to talk to him, like, because he went to Legend University. Look it up if you want.
There's a fun fact for all of you hockey fans. There you go.
So Kyle Davidson, like, he went there, and I just can't. I keep thinking, like, I'm so happy for him, right? I'm happy for him in the sense that he gets to start this journey with Connor Bedard, and I'm happy for the players that are on the team currently as well, right? We're not looking back at 2010, right? We're looking at it like in the eyes of looking forward. I couldn't be happier, right? Just as on a personal note, because you know, I've had I was very fortunate to have a chance to talk to him. Like, he's talked to millions of other people, I'm sure, but you know, I mean, just from the split moments that I've had the chance to talk to him, like, he seems like a super nice guy and like down to earth type of guy, and I couldn't be more excited for a guy to kind of get that. And he seems like, you know, he's around the same age or maybe a little bit older, I guess, or younger. I don't know what it is for Kyle Dubas, but I'm just excited for him to kind of have that chance to get it. So I totally understand where you're coming from, but I think it maybe comes on a more personal note for me. And whether or not you want to say it's rigged or not, I don't care.
Yeah,
I really don't care.
I mean, look, I'll speak again. Like, from the Devils' perspective, as a Devils fan, didn't matter at all.
Right.
Would
you be more upset if you were in the Ducks' shoes and that was your team?
Yeah, I think I would have been like upset, frustrated, disappointed, but at the same time, you're still getting, like, it was like when the Devils got the second overall pick just last year. It was like, obviously you want a chance to draft the top player in the draft, which, I mean, technically speaking, they did have an opportunity, just chose not to, which is fine. They didn't fit a need with what is his name? Why am I blanking?
What are you doing?
I'm already like off my game
That's
today.
Okay. It's okay.
I'm having a great time, but at the end of the day, Shane Wright. There we go. I figured it out. Shane Wright. Which, by the way, him going to Seattle is awesome. I think it's a really good fit for him, just in my opinion. Yeah. But I think overall, I would have felt as mad as a lot of Ducks fans felt. And shout out to Nate Thomas and the Quack Report. They are in our thoughts and prayers right now. They're not dead. They're just very, very, very upset. Understandably so. But, you know, at the end of the day, the lottery is the lottery. We don't like it no matter what happens unless you win the first overall pick. Yeah. And, you know, we'll see how Connor Bedard does once he gets to the NHL and wears that Chicago uniform. But, Kyle, to kind of shift here, we are just about ready to get underway in this one. Devils Hurricanes game number 4. Hurricanes up 2-1. Freddie Anderson in net again for the Hurricanes after giving up 4 goals and being pulled in game number 3. Vitek Vanacek, a little bit surprising, but nonetheless in net for New Jersey. He gave up 4 goals in game 3, but it ultimately did not matter as the Devils won 8-4. Really quickly, Kyle, we'll get into more of the detailed answers as we go along.
Yep.
What's your score prediction? Because we already got a bunch in the chat right now. So really quickly, what's yours?
I like the Devils tying this thing up. I think it's been a home ice swing like that you've seen the last 3 games. I like them tying it up tonight. I have no idea what the score is going to be. It literally could be anything after what we've seen yesterday. I think I like another high-scoring game here. I like 5-3 New Jersey.
And I'm going to go with 4-2. So both of us definitely feeling that we're still going to get a decent amount of goals. We have certainly got a lot of those through these 3 games. And we'll see what happens here as we are now underway in Game 4 here, Devils and Hurricanes. Do the Hurricanes take a 3-1 lead heading back to Raleigh, or do the Devils tie this series up and definitely force a Game 6 back in New Jersey during the weekend? So the Devils in their own zone. Nico Hischier, who finally got his first goal of this series in game number 3. Kyle, big thing for the Devils and a big positive is the fact that a lot of the top guys for New Jersey stepped up immensely as now an opportunity. Nico Hischier will dump it in the left corner. But yeah, Jack, Nico, Timo Meier finally got his first goal / point. I mean, all good things offensively if you're New Jersey after that game 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you needed. You needed Jack Hughes, you needed Timo Meier, who got the first one for you guys the other day, and it took them long enough. And when they finally got it, they finally were rolling with it with 8 goals, right? So it seemed like all that frustration just kind of poured out on the ice. And, I was so happy to see Jack Hughes fighting. Like, I was so happy that there was another, I think it was Noason who dummied, who did he fight there later on in the game in game 3?
Paula and Stefan Nason went at it later in the game.
Right. So, I mean, just seeing that was huge as the Devils set up here in the offensive zone.
So that shot deflected up and out of play. So we get a stop here.
Never mind. Just but I mean, talking about you were in game 3. You were at game 3.
Correct.
Tell me about the experience.
I mean, it was electric. It was exactly what I expected. This is my first playoff game in New Jersey in 5 years, since 17-18. And it was electric. The only thing that I wish is that I don't know why they have decided not to do this anymore, but I really wish that we would have the Stanley Cup playoffs be painted on the ice. Because other than that, it didn't feel like it was a playoff game. Also with the amount of goals, obviously you don't expect that in playoff games, but that's kind of the norm, as we've seen a lot in just these playoffs, not just in this series, but throughout. I mean, just look at last night. I mean, Vegas with a dominant win over Edmonton in Edmonton. I mean, they just kicked the living crap out of them.
With
their backup goaltender, Laurent Brossoit. I'm going to take a wild guess to say, by the way, he's probably done for the playoffs. Considering the injury he sustained, it did not look good by any means.
Hyperextend something, or what was the injury?
I don't know. It was I'm going to guess somewhere in the leg groin area, because he had to be carried off the ice. Mm-hmm. He had to be helped by like 2 or 3 people. As now, Devils' fourth line with some good pressure, almost a minute in the zone. McLeod with the puck, still gets around Jordan Stahl. McLeod using the power move, drops to the Bastion. Bastion throws a shot, and that would have stopped by Anderson. Oh my goodness. What a feed from Bastion to Dougie Hamilton. But Anderson makes a big save early on.
If there's something to hang your hat on this entire series, it's your fourth line.
There's a shot there! And I believe it's Timo Meier. He gets himself a goal. Second straight game. And just a minute 55 in, it's 1-0 New Jersey.
Wow. Random shot. Was it tipped in? Like, I know it went 5.
I'm not sure. I kind of looked away for just a split second, which is all you need. But nonetheless, New Jersey gets on the board. So again, Kyle, one thing you're noticing early on, really good forechecking. And I'm going to guess Hughes may have gotten a piece. We'll see it again on slow motion. I think Hughes might have gotten a piece. If not, it might have hit Pesce.
It's
tough to tell.
It looked like he fanned on that pass, Pesce, and he just gave it right away to Hughes. Yeah. And that's a big start for New Jersey, man. That's the way to set the tone.
So right now they're going to give it to Timo Meier. So Kyle, Timo Meier, who had gone a long time without scoring in these playoffs, now goals in back-to-back games. He is looks like he is starting to heat up here for New Jersey.
Yeah, and they're 4-2 when they've scored first in these playoffs. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, they've certainly done well. Yeah, they will give it to Timo Meier. So that is goals in back-to-back games for number 96. I'm still not used to him wearing 96 because I'm so used to him wearing 28 when he was in San Jose. Yeah. But nonetheless, by the way, fun fact about 96, just the number that Timo's wearing, that's his junior number. So that's why he won.
Junior? Where did he play junior?
I think he also played in the same junior team, Halifax. I think he was a Halifax Moosehead, if I'm not mistaken.
Halifax? Oh, you're right.
That shot was deflected, but Vitek fought it off. So Carolina gets their first shot on goal. It's about 3 minutes in, but I think it's definitely that. Mason says Neil's thoughts on Bedard going to Chicago. You know what? We'll have another discussion about it during the intermission. Whether the first we'll talk about it more because we'll have a little bit more time. Jedi is the absolute best. Thank you so much for the compliment. Thank you to everybody who's in. We got 50 people in the chat right now.
Also,
Kyle, on the replay, it was Jack Hughes that hit his leg and went in. So I think they're going to change it. It's going to be Jack Hughes. It doesn't matter either way because just Timo getting opportunities and then the puck finding the back of the net, I think is important whether he's the one scoring it or not.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter. I mean, so now you got Meyer, you got Jack Hughes, and I think it's Jesper Bratt on that first line, maybe?
Jesper Bratt, yep. So Lindy may potentially have found some lines that might work, as right now it's Palat, Heischer, and Bratt, and then it's Jack, Dougie, and I'm blanking for a minute. I'm totally blanking. Don't know why I'm blanking.
Also, too, what's the first thing you notice when you look on our flash score box score here? What's one thing that you notice? What stands out? Come on.
The fact that I'm not showing the stats.
Oh, go back. Go back to the summary.
Okay, we're going to the summary. I'm doing multiple things at once. Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes. Wow, I didn't notice that. Luke Hughes actually, no, he got a plus minus on that one.
But still.
I thought it was a point, but yeah, Luke Hughes making just his second appearance in the Stanley Cup playoffs. His first game was game number 3, and he had 2 assists. And Kyle, he looked as comfortable as a young player could look in his first ever career playoff game. He looked great.
Keep him out there with his brother, man. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that?
Is that shot there is stopped by Vitek? Follow-up try by Stahl, stopped as well.
What a save. Good confident start for Vitek. He needs it, especially letting in. I think it's more than 4 goals now in those 3 playoff starts. He needs that good start.
Jordan Stahl, he had a really good start to the series. And yeah, he did score a shorthanded goal in game 3, but he has certainly had more frustration. One thing, Kyle, that a lot of people were talking about and praising Jordan Stahl was how well he did against Jack Hughes in games 1 and 2. So far in game, looking at game 3 and so far in game 4, he has struggled mightily handling number 86.
Okay. And like what in the regards, maybe like was he doing good like on the face-off draw, or was he just good like matching him up on
not allowing Jack to get a lot of shots to the net as that shot there gets blocked to the left corner. But that's really what it was. And like frustrating him being physical with them and all that stuff. Liam says, "Can I see your score prediction?" I did see it earlier and I started, so do not worry, Liam. We actually have about 8 people who have put a score prediction, and I will say this again. You have until the end of the first intermission to put your score prediction in. So if you haven't already, please do so, because we will see if anybody gets it right.
1-0. It's going to stay 1-0.
It stays 1-0 the rest of the way. That would be something. It's some good forecheck here. It's a sharp angle shot from the Canes to stop by Vitek, and now John Marino waits, gets it off the boards, and he's able to get it out. And this is going to roll down, not enough for an icing, so Brady Shea will go back for Carolina as now he comes up the board. By the way, Brady Shea, they showed it after game 3. Defensively, he was probably the worst player on the ice. Really? He had, I think, a plus-minus of -6. He was really bad.
So you mentioned him. You mentioned, too, just before we jumped on here about Puljujarvi being off and him being replaced by because he was on the 4th line, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he's on the 3rd or 4th line, if I'm not mistaken. I can while we have a break here, I can kind of look it up again because I'm telling you, because and Brendan Moore had mentioned that there was a chance that he wasn't going to play.
Right.
He wasn't going to play game 3. I don't know if he had a bad game or not, but let me see here. It was Mackenzie McErkin. Yeah, McErkin, number 28. He comes in for Jesse Puljujarvi. That's literally the only change for Carolina, as now the Devils have the puck. Jack Hughes with a pass. Excuse me. He tried to throw it to Tatar, but it got broken up. So Jack Hughes now with the puck again, spins around, loses the puck, and it's taken away by Carolina. Good defensive play there as they'll dump it into the Devils zone.
I mean, right off the bat, too, I know it's been even shots on goal on that, but what's going to be key when you're looking at these stats here, I think the big key thing I'm going to look at, too, especially if New Jersey's up 1-0, just on the Devils side of things, is these block shots, right? Mm-hmm. So, they kind of let Carolina a little bit back into it in game 3 the other day. Not by much. Obviously, it didn't make a difference, but I'm expecting that defense to be better.
Nico Hischier with a shot that gets deflected wide of Anderson. Devils try to keep it in, but they'll whack it out of the zone, and they'll have to go back. Dougie Hamilton will get it over to Jonas Siegenthaler. Long feed to Tatar. Nice feed to Palat. Trying to get around a defender. Still with the puck here. Stops. Crawls up the line. Still with it. Tries to make a pass, but he gets stick lifted. Puck comes out. but Gostisbehere decides to retreat. I'm a little surprised there. I thought maybe Gostisbehere could have made an attempt.
He would have got stopped there.
As now gets over to Dougie Hamilton with a shot. That one is stopped by Anderson. Puck's loose. Devils retaining. Throws it in front. Shot, and that one just goes wide from Palat. Oh, I don't know how that didn't hit the net.
Very fast, very quick decisions. Good puck movement so far by New Jersey.
Icing here against Carolina with 13-12 to go in the first. 1-0 Devils, just a minute 55 in, thanks to Jack Hughes' team-leading 6th goal of the postseason. So show again here the opportunity for Andre Palat. Oh, he just missed. Oh, my goodness. I don't know how he didn't get it on net at least on that shot. What a chance. Almost 2-0.
Wow. You know what? I think I'm curious about Anderson's performance because he's either really, really good or really, really bad. I don't know what's your take on that.
I will tell you in a second as Timo Meier throws it in front. Hughes gets to it. Now to Marino. Marino waits. He'll dump it into the right corner around the net. Net actually comes off its moorings. I guess they're going to say play on here. Sebastian Aho just missed the breakaway chance. Vitek will cover, and we'll get a stop with 12:52 to go in the first. 1-0 Devils, thanks to number 86, Jack Hughes, with his 3rd goal in the last 2 games. But Kyle, if you could repeat the question for me, that would be appreciated.
Just before I do, I just had my dad text me. He says, do you remember this episode on Seinfeld? And then I'm looking at it, and I had to quickly look at it. David Putty, Mad Devils fan. The Devils!
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I remember. That's
exactly,
going around.
That's the typical one. That seems to be a typical one. I'm actually surprised they didn't go to commercial break.
That's, oh my God, who did they just show there? Oh, frick, what's his name? They just showed him in the stands. He looks so familiar. It's Trevor Zegras. That's what his name. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, Zegras is really Trevor Zegras is really good friends with Jack Hughes. They played together on a national team, so I'm not surprised that he would be here. We've seen Quinn Hughes a bunch for very obvious reasons. I just think it's funny how Devils fans assume that that Quinn Hughes is here, which means he's coming to the Devils confirmed, and I'm like, it could just be that he's, I don't know, the brother of 2 of Devils players. Is that puck in front? It's stopped by Anderson. Scramble in the crease. Devils still with it. Smith with a shot. That one pops up in the air, and Anderson will catch it and cover.
Wow. That was the question I was going to ask. It's either Anderson's really good or he's really bad. And I mean, the way he's responding after this first goal has been huge. I think they're going to commercial break here for me, at least.
They are, yep.
Like it's a good response for Anderson because this could very well be 2-0 right now.
So far here through about little less than 9 minutes, the Devils are just all over the Carolina Hurricanes. They've gotten the first goal. They've had at least 2 opportunities where they could have easily doubled the lead or tripled the lead. Yep. I mean, everything is going right. If you're New Jersey, it looks similar to what you saw from Carolina in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's early though, right? So it's about keeping this pressure up, right? Because you know that your big dogs in Carolina are going to have a response. You don't want them to get set up in the offensive zone because we've seen it too often where those defenders are the key contributors sometimes for that offense. They have the most goals for defensemen all around in the regular season and probably the playoffs, to be honest, too. So, you can't let them get comfy, right? You want to keep them moving. You want to keep them getting on their feet. Yes. And they've been doing that. They've been making really quick decisions, too. Quick and, just effective decisions, too, where, it's boom, boom, shoot, like right away, right? Yeah. They're not really stopping with that. So, great start for New Jersey. And then just on the other end, Carolina, man, like, you got to pick up your feet, man. Got to wake up.
Got to wake up. By the way, shout out to Joey Serrano, a new subscriber of the Hockey Podcast Network. Welcome, my friend.
I just wanted to interrupt real quick because Dylan mentioned this to me yesterday after we did the lottery stream. We had 19,000 people who watched the stream. If you look back, go look at the numbers. Look at the numbers.
Wow.
We had 19,000 people watch it live. I did not expect that at all.
Shout out to all you guys for jumping in. If you did, you guys are great.
So Dylan asked me, he goes, guess how many people we just had subscribed last night onto our YouTube channel? And I go, what? He said 216 people subscribed during that stream last night. Unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
I was shocked. So yeah, no, thank you guys for coming on. That was so much fun. Were you watching? Did you see my mistake last night?
Yeah, I did. I
honestly,
I'm not going to get on you for it though. I like your fun.
I totally screwed the pooch on that. I honestly think because sometimes I have the Apple TV and sometimes it buffers. I'll let you do your thing because they get a chance here.
Yeah, no worries. A shot there from Hughes goes wide. Luke Hughes, that is. I don't want you guys to start bombarding the chat with Which Hughes are you talking about? Because in Devil's World, we're already having that. Like, you're like, oh, what a great play from Hughes. And it's like, which one are you talking about? It's like, that's a good point. That's a good point. I also wanted to quickly here, really quick, Kyle. Someone asked, he said, did Jack Hughes get the goal or the assist? He got the goal. The shot that Timo Meier took hit off his right leg, I think, and went in. So they did give it to Jack Hughes.
Yes.
Just so you know. And also, really quickly, someone did ask, what channel is this game on? It is on, in the United States at least, it is on ESPN. I think Sportsnet maybe, Kyle, in Canada?
It's always going to be Sportsnet. Always.
Sportsnet, okay.
Yeah. From now on until the playoffs are done, it's always going to be Sportsnet.
As that puck comes all the way back down to the Devils' zone, and they'll try to get it out, and they will. So fourth line all right now for New Jersey. We got James Delaney saying, let's go Devils. Love that. Arpad he's actually Swiss. I'm wondering, what do you think about the Swiss players?
So
I love the country of Switzerland. They produce nothing but great Devils players. I'm just going to say that. And I also have friends who live in Switzerland. So shout out to all of you guys. If you're watching, love you guys. And so there you go.
Let's play a game. How many Swiss players can we name? So I know Nino Niederreiter is going to go play for the Swiss.
Why don't you just start with the Devils because they have 4 of them.
Okay.
Start with the Devils. They have the most money team.
They got Timo on there. Is Siegenthaler?
Siegenthaler, yeah.
Thank you.
He's also part Taiwanese as well, in case you want to know. Kind of a fun fact.
Is Akira Swiss?
Yep.
Okay. Oh,
and
my
who's
God,
the fourth?
I'm so proud.
The fourth. You haven't said it, and it's very obvious.
Oh, Hischier.
There you go.
Hey.
So, yeah, those are the 4. That's the most of any team. Another guy you mentioned, Niederreiter. I was thinking Roman Josi as well.
Josi, man, I want national play so badly soon, man. We need it. We need it so badly.
I know.
There's so many countries that are developing that are doing so good.
Oh yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, and Dylan's, by the way, in the chat, he says Kevin Fiala as well. Another good one. Yeah. Well done. Also says great chocolate. They do have great chocolate. There's no question. As Jack Hughes feeds it over to Tatar with a shot, and that one goes wide of Anderson.
Great chocolate. Real quick, before I forget, we do have another stream going on tonight.
Yes.
For the Seattle Kraken and the Dallas Stars. We got the Dusty Bender podcast, who will be hosting it for the first time as games go between the Kraken and the Stars. They're so funny. I was telling them
absolutely. If you haven't checked out their podcast, I highly recommend it. It is hilarious, dude. Mm-hmm. It is so great.
Super funny. And so if you want to see those guys tonight, they'll be on at 9:30 Eastern for the Kraken and the Stars tonight.
Yeah. I think I mentioned this to you before earlier in the playoffs, Kyle, but are you aware that that Erik Haula is from Finland, like born and raised?
Yeah, we talked about it, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, we did talk about it. Because a lot of people have asked me, they've said, like, wait, he's Finnish? And it's like, you look at him and like the way he talks, and he doesn't have an accent. There's nothing that makes you think right off the bat that he's Finnish. But he apparently is born and raised.
His name's Eric. Right, so
Eric,
I don't know. But then again, have Kevin Fiala, like you don't expect him to be Swiss.
No, I mean it's just like it is what it is, and like the thing about, there you go. By the way, Jack Hughes only 5'11", doesn't surprise me.
I could take him. I'm fine.
A solid 175 pounds. Again, not a shot.
I could take him.
Yeah, I think most people would look at Jack Hughes and say, "Yeah, I could take him."
You small fuck.
I almost guarantee you that someone has said that to him at some point in his career.
Oh, like chirping on the ice too in the playoffs. Yeah. Can you imagine the shit they would say?
Oh, yeah. Like I can see like Jordan Martinook saying something like that. I could totally see it.
I would have loved to know the shit that they were saying to Gaudreau. Like, you pigeon.
Oh, that's got to be something. That shot there from the Canes gets blocked in front. Another good block. Devils are able to get it out. Hurricanes got to be careful, though. They are really struggling with the puck at center ice. They seem to be struggling to control it.
8:50 to go. It seems like it's cooled off a little bit for the Devils rush, but great start for Vanacek. And, obviously it's a good start as the Hurricanes are going to have a lot more pressure going on too. Cheers from Davos. Is it HC Davos? The hockey club Davos?
I think Davos, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Davos was part of the KHL, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? Yes? No? Maybe?
I thought
so. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I have it wrong. I may have it wrong. But Devils dump it into the zone and a shot there. Oh my God, that nearly went in. Oh my goodness. Siegenthaler just throwing it on the net harmlessly, and Anderson almost screwed it up.
So Sorry,
would've been
they
Yeah, go
play in the National League, so they are Swiss and they play in the National League. So they
National
play
League,
with
yep.
like I don't even know, like Bern and I don't know. I love the logos though. Like for some of these teams,
Oh, they're great.
they're sick.
They're great. Fun fact also, Nico Heischer's older brother, which his first name escaped me. He is playing in the National League right now.
Got it.
Currently, He's playing for SC Bern, which is the team also that Nico Hischier played for prior to coming to North America and playing for the Halifax Mooseheads. We get an offsides here against Carolina, 7:38 to go in the first. Still 1-0 Devils.
Is Davos like the juggernaut of that league, or is it like?
Arpad did confirm, by the way. You're talking exactly HC Davos. So you were right. You were right.
I wonder if they're like the juggernaut of that, because I feel like that comes up a lot, right? But anyway, that's a cool fact. Eh? There you go.
Oh, Sharon, thank you. It's Luca Hischier, which, by the way, like, I don't know, that doesn't roll off the tongue like Nico. No disrespect to Luca. It just doesn't roll off the tongue for me.
Sounds Italian.
It does, right? Well, the funny thing, Kyle, is that in Switzerland, they speak several languages. German, they speak English, they speak Italian, because, Swiss Alps and all that stuff.
Right.
And I forgot the other one they speak. They speak French as well. Thank you. They speak French.
Sounds like they can't pick up their mind.
No, so I like that is a country that I definitely want to visit because it sounds like a really awesome place to go. Also, in case you want to know some more fun facts about Switzerland, is we have a break in the action. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
In case anybody wants to know.
Nothing happened.
You also do have to be a part of the military. So Nico Hischier, Akira Schmid, Timo Meyer, and Jonas Siegestad are all part of the Swiss Army as well.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So and Roman Yossi as well.
So the question, I guess, would be, I know we're getting a little off topic, but I just want to know, like, because we've seen the attacks on Ukraine, right? Obviously, the Russia-Ukraine war that was happening. If you take Ukraine out of it and it be Switzerland, would that mean that those players have to go back?
A lot of people have been asking.
I hope we don't have to answer that.
A lot of people have been asking that question, and I really don't know what they would do.
I hope we don't have to answer that question.
I hope we never have to.
Yeah. But anyway, no, that was just for my own sanity there.
Oh, by the way, Arpad says they also speak Romantish.
I couldn't tell you.
That Romanian? I'm sorry, I don't know. That
sounds Romanian.
And this is true. Dylan brings up a good point. Switzerland has always been neutral when it comes to war.
Got it.
They've always been neutral. So they really don't have an opinion. I mean, it's not they don't have an opinion. Their opinion is they don't want to be involved. If it doesn't involve them, they don't want to be involved.
Okay. Anyway, back to hockey.
Back to hockey, right, exactly. We are just about 7:16 to go in the first period. Devils came out flying on all cylinders, and they ended up getting the first goal thanks to a deflection off the leg from Jack Hughes, his sixth goal of the playoffs. Also, Kyle, that's his fifth point in the last two games.
Good.
And I should mention, we talked about Jordan Stahl doing a good job on Hughes. All five of those points that Jack Hughes has scored in the last two games, Jordan Stahl has not been on the ice for any of them.
Wow.
So that actually is what you're noticing. That when Stahl isn't on the ice, they try to get Hughes out there. So that's what they do.
My question
and as soon as they say that, he's on the ice with Jack Hughes right now. So forget it. Forget what I said. It makes no sense.
Should it worry the Hurricanes now that all of a sudden Jack Hughes and them are starting to roll with points?
I think it should worry them because the biggest what do they call it, advantage that the Devils have over Carolina, and really kind of, if we're being honest, one of the only, is the fact that the Devils have all of their talent playing and they're healthy.
Right. Sorry, I totally just spilled like a bottle.
Oh, jeez. We're having a day today, ladies and gentlemen. But we've talked about it before, Kyle. Carolina, no Svechnikov, no Teravainen, and no Max Pacioretty.
Right.
Yes, they still have Aho, they still have Seth Jarvis, they still have Martin Necas, they still have some talent, but the Devils' talent is at full strength at this moment. And that's kind of the thing that the Devils are kind of, I don't want to say they're banking on, but it's definitely the thing that gives them the one advantage. And if the Devils' top guys are rolling, even on the road, there's not going to be much that Carolina can do about it.
Not a whole lot, man. And the only response they can do is kind of what we saw in Game 3 is they have to start producing with their guys. Like, Aho has to continue to be that guy. They have to get more defense involved with trying to score as the Devils here are pressing.
There's now Michael McLeod around the net, still with the puck, leaves it a drive by Severson, and that one is stopped by Freddie Anderson. Kyle, we didn't do game number 3, but look at. I want you to specifically look at Michael McLeod. He scored a goal. It was a shorthanded goal in game number 3, but he has been nothing short of phenomenal these playoffs, and he showed it again there with a beautiful power move behind the net, one-handed pass to Severson for a really good shot on net.
For me, it's been like McLeod that has stood out the most, and that fourth line. I don't know why.
Fourth line.
It's been crazy.
By the way, Michael McLeod isn't even a part of the fourth line anymore. He got moved up to the third line.
Right.
And they're still making plays.
Yes. Joey mentioned he's following us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you so much. Don't forget about Twitter as well, too, because we are very active on Twitter as well. And while you're at it, why don't you go follow the Devil's State of Mind, because you're already at it. Why don't you go look at Dusty Bender, who will do our live stream later between the Kraken and the Stars at 9:30 tonight. If you want to see more, we obviously had friggin' 19,000 people watch the stream last night.
That's unbelievable. I think that might be the most watched live watch long we've ever done.
I was shocked.
For a long time we did the gold medal game in the Olympics last year.
Yes.
And that really blew up like tremendously. Now the draft lottery, that's crazy. That's phenomenal.
I was shell shocked because we started it and it was like, okay, it's the usual number or whatever. And then we're like, oh my God, what is happening?
Right. It's like, oh no, wait, what the heck?
Only reason I can say is because I think people were trying to look for it, even if they couldn't get cable. So I appreciate them coming on to ours. It was funny because real quick, with our numbers that we had yesterday, for those of you who are Canadian in Ontario, they crushed the SDPN game overs when there was 2 streams in game over that were doing the draft lottery, crushed those, and the latest podcast that they brought out for Steve Dangle, we hammered those too.
Kyle in particular wants to dominate Steve Dangle any chance he gets.
I feel so bad for him. I think he's going in.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Kyle, don't lie to me.
I do because I get it. I get it.
Do we have to talk about it? Do we have to talk about the elephant in the room, or are we like not talking about it today?
Intermission.
All right, intermission. Because I'm curious. If you weren't here like last week, Kyle had like choice words.
I got more choice words
for the Leafs when they were only up 3-2 against Tampa, and I'm curious to know when the Leafs went 3-0, I was saying to myself, what is Kyle going to say? Because this is something.
I feel like I shouldn't say anything yet.
Yeah, probably not now.
I'll say a little bit. I can say a little bit.
Like what we've seen so far, that is that the Florida Panthers are the scariest team in the NHL right now.
And you're paying 4 guys half your salary to score no goals.
That's crazy.
So,
this is a great comment. Basically had the whole population of Sudbury in the draft lottery live stream.
Go fuck yourself.
That's brutal. You had 19,000 people, but only got. When you have that many people, you need to get your mods to press more to those people to follow. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Bodo, and by the way, man, good to see you as always. I hope you're doing well because I know you're a big supporter of the network as well. Look, every day is an opportunity for us to continuously get better. Sebastian Aho feeds it in front and just out of the reach of Stefan Nason there. Good play. But, look, we are continuing to build this network, not just here on YouTube, but with all the podcasts. Kyle is doing a phenomenal job with getting new podcasts in here. Dylan is doing a great job as well. Everybody's doing their part, and we're continuing to build. And, as the old saying goes, Rome wasn't built overnight. It's going to continue to take time, but we're building every day.
Yep, it'll take time. And I mean, that's a big for us, that was a huge first step as the Devils have a chance here again.
There's Brendan Smith with a shot that gets blocked. I will tell you really quickly, Kyle, both teams right now doing a really good job of blocking shots. Is Aho with the interception, but he has nobody with him, and he loses the puck easily.
No room, nothing.
No room, nothing at all. Suffocating.
It's been pretty quiet ever since that first goal. Maybe the odd chance here or there I think the Devils and the Hurricanes have had, but it's been fairly quiet.
I think it's been fairly now we're even. Like first couple minutes, it was all Devils, and now Hurricanes took a deep breath, and now they're kind of. I mean, they've had a couple of really good chances. There's no question. Like they're easily one opportunity away from tying this game. Like it's not like they're getting outplayed like they did in Game 3 in the first period.
I smell overtime tonight.
Oh God,
I kind of do. I don't know why.
Luckily, as a
I
Devils
really
fan, I've
do.
only had to go through one overtime so far in these playoffs, and
Yeah.
I'm not in the business to go to another overtime.
I
But
haven't
I
seen the
mean,
Devils
if it does, it
overtime.
does.
Devils haven't been in overtime since game 3.
Game 3 against the Rangers back in the first round, and we did
Tyler
that
Rain.
game. Yeah, my mom's in the chat. Everybody say hi.
Daniel's mom.
Jacob says hi.
Hey. Yeah,
Jacob says
let's
hi.
go. Let's go.
What's going on, Jacob? Good to see you, by the way. Jacob, I saw your comment. I saw your prediction earlier, so don't worry. I did see that.
You saw everybody's prediction. Don't worry about it. You still
No,
have 2
please.
minutes in
This
case you got
isn't going to be real. This isn't going to happen, Jacob. Let's not speak that into existence, please. Yeah, Stoffel, by the way, good to see you as always. He did predict 3-2 Hurricanes in overtime as Michael McLeod nearly got a breakaway chance. Here come the Hurricanes. Draw pass shot, and they score! And it's Martin Necas who gets one past Vitek, and the Hurricanes have tied it at 1.
That was a great goal. I mean,
it was.
Bouncing puck. I think he hit it out of midair. Like
It definitely bounced because it was a pass from Martinuk. And by the way, just seconds prior to that, Michael McLeod almost had a breakaway chance, but we'll look again on the replay. Nice saucer pass. Severson got it. Severson got a stick on it, but couldn't get it away. And then Necas is able to just take a shot and score there. So showing Luke Hughes before, who just missed that pass. I don't know why they're getting on Hughes for that. I mean, that really wasn't a bad play.
That's really good hand-eye coordination. I don't know if there's a lot that Vanacek can do there. Maybe he could have approached it a little bit further out of his crease just to challenge him a little bit, to take up more room in the crease. But, I mean, overall, it was an unbelievable shot. I mean, it was
an unbelievable shot, and that ties the game up at 1. Martin Necas with the goal. And that was the guy, Kyle, that we talked about earlier in the series that really has had a tough going of, when it comes to having success in the playoffs. I think that might be only his second goal of these playoffs.
Yep.
But he's another top guy that stepped up, and he gets this game tied at 1.
No better way to step up, especially with your big guys out of the lineup, and they have been for a while, and, it's good timing for that to happen.
No question about it. As Bratt gets knocked down, puck comes out of the zone. So now if you're the Devils, you got off to a fantastic start. You brought a lot of energy, had a couple of chances after you went up 1-0 to double it or even triple it. You didn't. And now here late in this first period, I don't know if you would say it was super late because it was with 3 minutes to go in the period.
Yep.
Carolina ties it. And I mean, it wasn't a bad, I wouldn't necessarily say there, you got to blame, Vitek for that. I don't think it was a bad goal given up to him. Just a good shot from Necas on that one.
It was a great goal. I mean, that's such a skilled play too. Like to have it just bounce and then bat it up top corner. Like that's unbelievable.
Right. I don't think either team has played all particularly bad in this first 20 minutes. I mean, Carolina got off to a rough start, but they've certainly settled down since.
I agree. Yeah.
Now Burns with a shot that deflects up and out of play with 1:15 to go in the first. Now tied at a goal apiece thanks to a Martin Necas. Do we call that a deflection goal? Do we call that a deflect or no?
I think it was still a pass because I think from what I saw, like it looked like a saucer pass that got tipped. I mean, you can call it. Yeah, you can.
I'll be honest with you, Kyle. I think honestly, if the saucer pass worked, I don't think Necas gets that shot past Vitek.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Just because, if you look at where the pass was going, it looked like it was going to go right to his chest.
Only thing I wish was Vitek just to kind of approach it a little bit more, just because it was a bouncing puck. I wish he came a little bit closer to that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is now a feed over. Backhand try by Kotkaniemi is stopped by Vitek, and the Devils clear, but I think they cleared it out of play. I think this might be a delay of game.
You're in the middle of the ice.
Oh, bro.
In your own end, and how do you manage that?
Yikes. And it is going to be a delay of game, so the Devils will go to the sin bin for the first time tonight. Eric Holla will get 2 minutes for delay of game. Vitek made the save, Kyle, but the puck came out in front, and good job by Eric Holla to get it out. So we'll see it again. He did, and he just, like a home run, he just hit it deep into the stands.
I don't know if I don't know what to say about that, man.
That was just not good. So now, if you're Carolina, you tied the game. Now you have a big chance here to grab a late lead and grab that momentum going into the first intermission as the Hurricanes win the draw. Look to set up. Aho beats it in front. Nason loses it for a moment. Now gets over to Necas. So not this again. Necas now with the puck. Still with it, feeds it over to the side, and that one just misses Jarvis. Nico Hischier gets to it and clears just back out to the Carolina bench.
I forgot about that Nacious.
I hope I don't get it a lot tonight, as now Nate just dumps it into the left corner out of the reach of Jarvis. Marino gets to it, trying to get it out, but Hurricanes get to it. Birds down with the puck, walks it up, gets it over in the slot to Jarvis. Backhand try, gets blocked into the right side. 23 seconds to go in the first. Aho gets to it, gets it a drive from Burns, and that one goes wide of the net. Hurricanes still with some good pressure here. Can't get it to it. Now Nate gets to it. Puck comes out, but Smith will get to it and easily clear with 10 seconds to go. And I think Carolina will just run into the, not run, but they will skate into the first intermission, tied at a goal apiece. And that'll do it. So we have a tie hockey game at a goal apiece. Jack Hughes with an early goal, a minute 55 into this game. But Martin Necas, on a nice shot, was able to tie it up with just about 3 minutes to go in the period. Hurricanes will have a abbreviated power play going into the second period. But, Kyle, your thoughts so far after 20?
I mean, it was a good time to take the penalty, right? Because you only have a minute left. You got to go back to center ice. If you win it, you dump it. You kill another 20 seconds, whatever. So you might get 40, 30 seconds left in that power play. So overall, it's been a good start. It was a good penalty kill for the most part. They still have another minute to go. It was a great start by the Devils. Good response by Carolina, right? Like, I mean, I think the physicality is not there yet. I think it's going to ramp up as the game goes on. But yeah, no, the Devils they were right there early on. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't try to keep that momentum going. Yeah. But that's what happens too, right? It takes one swing the other way. And it was just a really good goal by Necas. And, you got to give him full credit for that.
I don't agree necessarily that the Devils have started to panic, but obviously taking that penalty at the end of the period is not great.
Why would you panic?
I mean, there's no reason to panic. It's a tie hockey game after 20 minutes of play. Yeah. So both teams are certainly going to come out, try to make adjustments in during the first intermission, and we got a lot of hockey left to play. Really quickly, Race Fan Rock says, "Is Carolina the best team left in the playoffs?" It's tough to say. I'm gonna go with no. It's more like Florida's starting to become that like top team left in the playoffs.
That's a really good question.
Vegas is up there clearly. Edmonton,
Seattle.
Seattle. Yep, Seattle's still there. That's a really good question.
I don't know. I don't think they're the best team left in the playoffs when they win the Stanley Cup. There's too many teams that I think are too. You can make an argument for Edmonton. You can make an argument for Vegas. You can make an argument for.
Dylan's making an argument for the Leafs.
I'll get into that after we have a break. I'll get into it. Don't worry.
Of course. But yeah, I mean,
you're so funny, Dylan. You're hilarious.
It was a really solid period for both teams. Both teams got a goal. Seems like goaltending has certainly improved. Again, only 2 goals in the first period, so I think we're safe for now. But who knows what's going to happen moving forward? But before we get into our first intermission report and talk a bunch of different things, we're going to step aside for the first time tonight to get a word from our sponsors. And welcome everybody here to our first intermission report of our game, Devils vs. Hurricanes, game number 4 of this Eastern Conference semifinals. And after 20 minutes of play, we have a tie hockey game. Jack Hughes with the first goal of the game, a minute 55 into this one, getting his 6th of the year on a deflection shot off his leg. And then much later in the period, about 3 minutes or so to go in the period, Martin Necas was able to tie it on a excuse me type of pass from Martin Nook, but nonetheless with a really nice goal, and that tied it up. And so that's where we are after 20 minutes of play. And Kyle, again, I know I asked you before we went to break, but I'll ask you again, your thoughts from both teams after the first 20 minutes of action.
No, I already did this. This is bullcrap. You should have listened. No, I mean it's been I think I don't want to say expected, but like I thought Anderson's responded very well after that first goal. I thought Vanacek has been good. I mean, that was, again, a tough goal, obviously, to kind of let in there. But, no, I like the kind of flow of the game that's been going on a little bit. Really good chances early on for the Devils, and then obviously you're going to get the Hurricanes back on the power play as the second period will begin soon. But, I mean, I don't know if there's necessarily anybody that's kind of caught my eye. I guess now that they're showing the highlights, I think Jack Hughes has been really showing his his defensive structure a little bit and how that's getting a little bit, he's kind of folding a little bit. They're showing defensively a couple of chances that were given up in that first period. Jack Hughes was on it for a lot, so I don't know if that's something that's going to be a concern going forward for the Devils, but maybe if you're the Hurricanes, that's something you can continue to exploit. So nothing crazy I think we've seen in the first, but I'm sure we're going to see more as we go into the second. As Neil, what do you think of the first?
So I think from the Devils' perspective, I obviously love the start. They came out flying. Every line seemed to be, creating opportunities. Just moments before the Devils' goal, you look at that fourth line, the BMW line, making, just keeping the puck in the offensive zone for almost a minute there. Really did a fantastic job of, on the forecheck, and then obviously the Devils scored. And then even after that goal, they had 2 or maybe 3 opportunities where they could have doubled or tripled the lead and really kind of jumped on the Carolina Hurricanes. But, Freddie Anderson made a couple of good saves. Devils at times kind of struggled to kind of capitalize. But nonetheless, I think a good start. Not necessarily thrilled with the way that they ended the period, obviously letting the Hurricanes tie it. I felt like Carolina settled down after a while and eventually got their game going, and obviously they scored. And I think that kind of shifts me to Carolina. Yeah, rough start. Did not like that. Did not like it at all if you're Rob Brindamore. But as the period progressed, you settled down, you got yourself going, had a couple of good chances, and then you got a goal. And Martin Necas, who, again, they need him to step up more, and he steps up there with a really good goal. So now you're in a tie hockey game. You got an abbreviated power play to start the second period. And you've kind of taken some of the life out of the building right now, because up until the Necas goal, starting back at the beginning of game 3, the Devils crowd has been nothing but all over Carolina. Apparently, I was told that there was a Freddie chant after the Devils took the lead. So clearly, Freddie Anderson has not been as sharp so far, but you know what? In this game, after that goal he gave up, been a lot better. By the way, you mentioned Trevor Zegras is in the stands. He is in the stands in New Jersey. He's sitting next to Jack Hughes' dad. Just a fun fact.
Oh, that makes sense. I thought it was his dad, but fair enough.
No, that is Jack Hughes' dad. But yeah, I think overall, pretty solid period for both teams. Not much you can complain about from either team other than the fact they gave up a goal. I think we're seeing a lot tighter of a hockey game than we've seen in the last 3 games.
Clearly. I mean, Frank, we saw what happened there in game 3. I mean, frankly, game 1 and game 2 as well. But yeah, I think you're starting to see the goalies start to settle down a little bit more.
Right.
Like I said too, like Freddie's kind of getting into it a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be who's going to blink first, right? Who's going to blink first? That's going to open the floodgates. I think 2 things are going to happen. We're either going to go to overtime with a low-scoring game here, or the floodgates will open with one of these teams. I don't know what's going to. Again, we don't no idea what's going to go on.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it's been. I think it's going to get more exciting, and I hope it ramps up a little bit more with better opportunities than that going in the first, because it was a little bit of back and forth and battles in the neutral zone as well. Kind of getting into the comments though here, as Jacob mentions here. Fun fact: Eichel had more goals and points than McDavid and Leon last night.
He had a phenomenal game last night.
He had a great game, but who cares? It's only one game.
Jacob cares. Jacob.
No, I'm not saying Eichel's. I think Eichel needs to be the guy, right, on that team. Oh, it's red wine. Okay, I was going to say, what are you pouring there into your red wine?
Don't worry about it.
I didn't think it was red wine. I didn't think it was
I'm doing this because it's like, well, it's going to be a long night, so let's get it over with. Yeah.
I think Eichel needs to be that guy for that Vegas team. You know, obviously he gets traded over there and that. I think he needs to continue to be that guy going forward if Vegas wants to win this series. I expect a response from Draisaitl and McDavid. It's going to happen. That's just the way I see it. As I was going to say front row productions. Neil.
What's going on, man? Good to see you. It's been a while since I've seen you in the chat. I'm glad that you're hanging out with us, man. Really do appreciate it. Eichel is the NHL's best player after Logan Thompson. Last time I checked, I don't think Logan Thompson is playing right now.
Pick a team, man. He was battering you in the first round for being a Rangers, or excuse me, he was with the Rangers all the way. Maybe because
Jacob just doesn't like me. So like that's really what it is. This relationship dates back to last year. So, that's pretty much what it is. Which is fine.
Play a little baby violin.
Anyway, Andy's upset that Jacob didn't tell him that I'm live tonight. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you about that one. EDM fan, by the way, EDM fan, go Horns. Eichel is not the best player.
Of course he's not.
Very obvious. We know that. Jack Eichel's a great player. Do not get me wrong. Okay? He's a great player. But he's not the best. He's not the best.
Do you think... Here's a question for you. Do you think he's lived up to the expectations of being the number 2 overall pick behind Connor McDavid?
No.
Outside of his injuries, because whatever, he got injured.
Okay, outside of his injuries, here's the problem I have.
Okay.
He's not with his original team. And great, is that completely his fault? No. Like Buffalo is just, only now has Buffalo started to get good. Right. But I just think that when you look at what McDavid has done, and he's still in Edmonton, and honestly, I think he'll probably be there his entire career. I just think he's one of those guys.
You won't go anywhere. Yeah.
I just think that it's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. What do you think?
About McDavid or about Eichel?
About Eichel.
Yeah, it is tough to say because I don't want to take injuries into account here, but I mean, pissed off a lot of Buffalo fans. Buffalo management pissed him off too. The fact that relationship all of a sudden got toxic, and then he goes to Vegas, which seems appropriate for him, to be honest with you. But like, you pick him number 2 overall, and if it wasn't for McDavid, he would have been number 1 overall, obviously. But I don't know why. I just expect Eichel. I expect so much of him. I expect him to be the number 1 center. I expect him to be like on the levels of like, you better start playing like a Crosby type player, like a McDavid, like not to the levels obviously what McDavid's been playing, but like I expect you to be a superstar in this league, and he just hasn't been able to do that. You know who isn't a superstar in this league?
Yeah,
is 2 guys that I'm thinking of here.
Okay,
Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner.
They're not. Yeah, well, we'll talk about them more. I also wanted to mention really quickly here because it's pretty big news. We found out earlier today, Colorado Avalanche captain Gabriel Landeskog will be out the entire 2023-24 season due to an arthroscopic knee procedure he received, I think, today. So, Landeskog actually spoke to the media and said he has no plans on retiring. He's still he's not terribly old, so that's a positive on his end. But it is kind of crushing. I mean, he sacrificed his body to win a cup. He won a cup, and now he's kind of, I don't want to say he's paying the price, but he certainly is someone paying the price for winning that cup.
Yeah, I mean, they won the cup, and that's the price that it takes sometimes. And, obviously we saw, like, his struggles this year with staying healthy, and now you see that. Like, I feel bad just because, like, you want to see the best players in the league perform at their very best, and you can see the toll that it takes out of them. But, I mean, he's got his cup ring to keep him by his bedside, right? So I hope he can come back next year. He's only 30 years old, right? So I expect him to come back healthy, and, it does suck, though, right? So but I imagine he's still going to be a part of that organization in the sense that, he's going to be helping guys along the way with whatever they need and that sort of thing off the ice. I think he's going to be a big off-ice guy, too. Like, when it comes to being a captain of that team, right? Because that's the captain you're losing. So I expect him to kind of be there on the off-ice side of things and just really stepping up, on that side of things.
Yeah, so obviously we wish nothing but the best for Landeskog. It'll be a long time since next time we see number 92 If Buffalo got number one, that would have had McDavid want to leave
Would
Buffalo too.
McDavid leave Buffalo if he was number one?
Would McDavid? That's a really good question.
Mhm.
That's a really good, and I would lean towards saying probably yes,
Yes.
because, and this is no knock.
Fair.
Look, first and foremost, I am not going to sit here and start going on and on about Buffalo. I don't want to shit on them and everything because I think they're building something really good over there right now. But if you look at how things progressed when Eichel was in Buffalo and how a lot of mismanagement and how a lot of things just, they weren't building a team, very well and things like that. Obviously I think that it led to Jack Eichel being frustrated. The way things handled with his injury, I think were really bad. And I think if McDavid was in the same position, I don't think McDavid would be in Buffalo right now. I think it would just be like that. So, yeah, I think it says a lot more about Buffalo as an organization than it does about the player. I'm not surprised that Jack Eichel went to Vegas. I felt like for a while that it just seemed like you mentioned, Kyle, it was kind of like the way that Vegas operates in getting the top guys.
He was very close to being in Calgary.
Yeah, that was a weird time when we all thought he was a Calgary Flame, and then he just wasn't. And then there was like, wait, what? That was weird. But okay. I'm not. Again, I don't want to kick you while you're down, Kyle. I don't want to do that to you.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse.
Yeah, you do have one of the coolest arenas in the league that unfortunately won't exist for much longer.
Thanks for that, fucker.
But the Saddle Dome is literally shaped like a saddle, and it's great. I think it's phenomenal.
Not gonna be anymore.
But yeah, no, Jacob has choice words for Buffalo, and again, he's a Vegas fan, so he's going to say what he wants. Buffalo didn't want Eichel getting surgery, so he said "F off" and trade me now. And I mean, give Vegas credit. After they traded him, they immediately said, "Go have that surgery." So give him credit for that.
Yes, absolutely. Because I guess it was a big part of like him whether or not he wanted to get the surgery or not. And yeah, I'm not surprised, obviously, that that's where the relationship ended. But yeah, kind of moving away from the Eichel conversation for a second. A question that I asked last night to a lot of the guys on the stream that I'm going to ask you, outside of, I'm not sure how well you know these prospects going into the draft. Mm-hmm. I know we're talking off season a little bit, but outside of Connor Bedard, Adam Fantilli, and all that, is there a prospect that stands out to you when you kind of first take a good glimpse at? I know we don't have it right in front of us because of names we just don't know. Is there somebody maybe just frankly outside of Connor Bedard and maybe Adam Fantilli you can kind of get into as well that maybe might stand out to you as a franchise player?
I really like that Russian kid, Michkov, right? Michkov. I really, really like Michkov. The reason everybody keeps thinking that Michkov is falling off because he's Russian, it doesn't really have anything to do with the fact that he's Russian. It's the fact that, and Will Smith is another good guy to mention as well, Jacob. Thank you for that. Will Smith, not the actor, but the hockey player. But Michkov, the reason why people are hesitant about Michkov is because he signed a new deal with his KHL team, and it's not sounding like he's going to come over right away.
Right.
So it's the question of if a team, knowing how talented he is, are they willing to sit there and be patient and not go there and immediately and have him come right away? And I think Kyle would
Arizona.
Right. Arizona is the one. San Jose, I think, is a good bet to maybe draft Michkov 4th overall.
Agreed.
We'll see. Maybe Columbus. Columbus is definitely big fans of Russian players. Yep. So I wouldn't necessarily be I wouldn't be surprised they went down that route. But who knows? This is a deep class, but deep in the sense of talent, but maybe not in the sense of franchise caliber players like we've seen before. But with that now out of the way, by the way, the puck is dropped and second period of our game is officially underway. Jack Hughes, 5 points in his last 2 games. Martin Necas with that only goal for Carolina back in the first. His 6th career playoff goal, his 3rd of these playoffs. I apologize. I thought he only had 1 up until this point, but that is actually his 3rd goal of these playoffs. But again, I've heard people in Carolina talk before about the fact that he's a top guy and they want him to step up. And he does step up here with a big-time goal late in that first period to tie it at 1.
This power play, again, it's been dwindling. Good pressure by the Devils. I think that was going to be the message going out of this. Getting started here in the second. Kill the power play. Let's get back to what we were doing in the first.
Yeah, no question about it. And Kyle, here's a crazy thing. And granted, it didn't matter very much last night because the Oilers ended up losing. But the Oilers going into last night's game, 56% success rate on the power play in these playoffs. That is nuts, in my opinion.
It's unbelievable. But I'll say this. I remember seeing the video as they kill the power play and they get a chance.
Haula takes a shot that actually had to be fought off by Anderson. Yeah. Erik Haula still with the puck, throws it in front, and that one's deflected. But Anderson still gloves it off a deflection from McLeod.
While we have a break, I didn't want to interrupt your comments and all that. The thing with that, I think is going to be worrisome as the playoffs continue is McDavid was experiencing a little bit of pain. I don't know what it was at one of the practices. You remember that?
I did notice.
Right. I imagine that I can't see that percentage continuing to be at its rate as they go further into the playoffs, right? I think it's going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, I hate to, sound like a broken record, but many people have said this. When McDavid and Eichel are not rolling, if they're not at 100% rolling, it just kind of feels like the end of the team doesn't have anyone else that's going to really step up. Saw it on full display last night. Oh, yeah, you saw. I mean, again, remember, Edmonton scored the first goal. They got it rolling. By the way, yeah, everybody make sure to leave a like on the stream while you are here. By the way, game number 4 of that series, Golden Knights Oilers, tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern, just in case you'd like to know.
Yes, and the game tonight, another game tonight.
We have a second live watch along coming up later tonight between the in the Kraken Stars game. Man, that Kraken team is so much fun to watch.
Please go watch it. It's so much. Those guys that'll do it tonight are so
the Dusty Benders are hilarious. Please go watch it. I beg of you to please watch.
As we got about so they killed the power play. It's off, and now we're kind of. It's a little bit of dump and chase now, back and forth.
Both teams, yeah. That's when it's really annoying for hockey fans when they just watch both teams just kind of keep flipping it back into the other team's zone. Nothing's going on.
And another flip.
As that one's taken away by the Hurricanes, Burns gets to it, walks around, still with it. Now he'll go behind the net, loses the puck, tries to make a pass. He gets taken away by Erik Haula, gets it over to Dougie, just out of his reach, but Siegenthaler is able to get it, and he'll flip it out of the zone.
Another flip.
Never mind.
God damn it.
Never mind. That puck is, Jack Hughes goes into the boards. Not sure what happened, and he's slowly making his way to the bench. Let's keep an eye on that. I just want to keep an eye on that. I'm not saying that he's penalty. I'm just saying keep an eye. He looked slow when he was getting up there.
Agreed.
The shot there from the point gets blocked in front by New Jersey. As that one's dumped out. Kyle, let me ask you this. Just out of curiosity. Do you consider this is such a weird thing to say. We're used to seeing a lot of very blatant penalties get called, tripping, roughing or whatever. For delay of game, do we call that a legit penalty? I guess we do, right? Because it's in the rule book.
Yeah. No, it's a legit penalty.
Pretty much. Okay.
It's understandable why they have the mesh up at both ends, but you're flipping the puck out of play. You're stopping the game.
Yeah, I mean that's what we saw from Erik Haula. That's the only penalty we've had so far in this game. And the Hurricanes, I will say, at the end of the period, looked a lot better on that power play. But to start this period, they didn't do basically anything.
They didn't do jack shit.
That's true. And both teams' power play has been, to put it bluntly, pretty much abysmal in this series. It's really hard to watch if you're a hockey fan.
Neil, this has been a pretty boring first 5 minutes, not going to lie.
By the way, Bulls also have 0 odd man rushes. That's something that they have a lot of success with in these playoffs, and they're not getting it so far in this game. That tells you right there, good defensive game plan right now from Carolina, much better than what we saw in game number 3. And as soon as I say that, Michael McLeod almost got it on his forehand there, but a good stick lift, I think, by Derek Stepan. So now Miles Wood will get in, chip it back in.
I feel like this game is going to come down to who's going to make the first mistake, right? If it stays this way for the majority of the second, whatever, who's going to make a big mistake coming up?
The first big mistake, because both teams have already given up a goal, but was it a big mistake? Kind of tough to say if that was or was not.
I'd like to say it wasn't.
That's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like Jack Hughes' goal deflected. Speaking of Hughes, he has the puck in the zone, drops off to Meyer. Meyer with a shot and he fanned on it. Then he goes crashing into Anderson. Puck comes in the right corner and actually goes all the way back down into the Devil's zone. And they're going to call a penalty. I think they're going to call. Well, wait a minute. I think they're calling a penalty on both teams here. Wait, what? I'm confused. All right, 2 minutes interference. I think that's it. I think Timo's getting a 2-minute penalty for interference as he ran into Anderson. I don't. Interesting. I mean, that's okay. Well, Timo whiffed on the shot, which is unfortunate, and then he kind of collided with Burns and then Slavin. I don't know what he was supposed to do there.
Yeah, that's odd.
So let's see again. He gets kind of knocked into Anderson by Slavin a little bit, not a lot, but they're going to call goalie interference. So just about 5 minutes into this second period, Kyle. Now the Hurricanes get another power play.
I don't like that. I don't like
it either.
No, I think
it sounds biased, but I still don't like it anyway.
No, I'm saying it as an unbiased too. Like I don't like that, to be honest. Like, it's not like he was forcing himself into Anderson there, right? It didn't seem like it from my eyes, but yeah, I just don't like it. It's a call that really shouldn't get called.
No, absolutely. Now the Devils have an opportunity coming the other way, shorthanded. Eric Hall up the left wing. Waits, feeds it over, deflected by McLeod, but he missed the net. Michael McLeod for his third shorthanded goal there, but couldn't get it on net.
I thought that looked like it was on net there for a second.
I thought it was going to pop up in the air and go in. I thought that's what it looked like. Wow. Should also mention, by the way, Kyle, Carolina Hurricanes currently 1 of 8 on the power play, as now they actually are able to keep it in. Burns with it now. Burns sets it up top of the point. Aho fakes a slap shot from Natchez. Natchez on the right face-off dot. Gets it over to Nason. Now to Natchez. Don't do this to me. Gets it over to Natchez. Still with it. Over to Nason. Back to Natchez. Natchez still with it. Gets it back to Nason with a sharp angle try. That was fought off by Vitek. Feeds over to Jarvis. Now to Natchez. Top of the point to Burns. Now a try from Natchez, and that one is gloved down and covered by Vitek.
It's a good, you know what? You got to give Vitek a chance here. He's playing great here, right? Like, for a guy who hasn't been good for the first little bit of the playoffs, man, like he started to step up here really good.
Yeah, so right now, definitely the better of, and again, it's only like the second power play for Carolina, but much better than the first. They've had at least 1, maybe 2 shots on goal in this one. So
Naked, the ends again going back.
I know, like it just drives me nuts when they both do that. It's like, okay, like it annoys me. Like as a Devils fan, it's fine. They could pass it about 1,000 times and not shoot it. I don't care. But as a broadcaster, am I the only one that has had this issue?
No, I can't be more. There's definitely been more, right? In history.
You're like the Carolina broadcaster, right? And you spend the entire 82-game season saying that.
Yeah, imagine, like, Nakesh,
Nason, like, it's like that. Look, no disrespect to Stefan Nason, former New Jersey Devil, I might add. He was actually part of the Devils team, the last Devils team that made the playoffs. And Natchez, who I think is one of the most underrated players in the league. It's just that both of you have names that are similar and sound similar. I don't know what you want me to say there. As Bastian clears it out of the zone for New Jersey. So
I don't know either, man. I don't know either.
I don't know. We're done. One thing I will notice, Kyle, is that the big reason to me why the Hurricanes power play has struggled, winning faceoffs, as they throw it in front there, and Stastny completely missed it. I don't know how he didn't get a shot on net there. That pass just out of the reach. Gets it to Stahl. Power play is up. Deflection there, and that just goes over Vitek. That puck deflects up and out of play. 13:03 to go in the period. But, Kyle, I'm shocked that Stastny did not even get a shot on net on that deflection. He was wide open.
Yeah, very sloppy power play. Really, like, not a lot going on. Another good kill for the Devils, right? But at some point, like, especially since the start of the period, they haven't gotten their feet moving yet, and that's something that they gotta start doing again, man. They had a great start to the first period. You gotta get those feet moving again.
Yeah, I think the Devils are definitely playing more back on their heels right now through this first almost 7 minutes of the period. But then again, they had abbreviated penalty kill, and then they just killed off another one. Right. So again, discipline becoming somewhat of an issue for New Jersey. They haven't had a power play yet, which might actually be a good thing considering they gave up 3 shorthanded goals in game number 3. They've also, Kyle, given up 7 against Carolina. That includes the regular season. So that's not good at all. That's terrible.
Doesn't seem great.
No, it's not good at all. So
wow. Okay. What do you need to see from New Jersey as the second period goes along?
I need them to use their speed again. That's what you saw in the first couple minutes of this game, and they scored right on it. And I think, honestly, you might agree with me, actually.
Right.
I think it starts with the fourth line.
Again?
I think it starts with the fourth line because, again, like not the fourth line necessarily scoring, although, granted, I will take a fourth line goal if I get it. But, again, look at the way that goal for Jack Hughes started. It started with the fourth line keeping the puck in for almost a minute, where the Hurricanes are tired, they're getting hemmed in, and that's all you see. And eventually the Devils score. So sometimes getting your fourth line out there to bring energy, be physical, maybe do a good job on the forecheck, kind of go from there. Physical. I think that's really what it is.
Ought to be more physical, man. Like that's something that it worked last game. Guys were pissed off. You're gonna kick their ass. You want me to fight you? That's what's gonna happen.
Jack Hughes had gotten so tired of Sebastian Aho cross-checking him. He said, "Forget the goal. I just want to throw hands at this point." So
they were showing highlights here of guys chanting "Fire Lindy" and then "Sorry Lindy."
That was the best. That was great.
Is that?
I was there for the by the way, Oh, Jack Hughes is not on the bench right now. Oh. Okay. Now, mind you, I did say to you, Kyle, if you remember, he got hit and was slow to get up in the right corner when this period started. And I said, keep an eye on that. Well, right now, number 86 is not on the ice for New Jersey as now Pesce comes in, feeds over, shot, and they score! It's Martin Necas again! He roofs one past Vitek, and the Hurricanes take the lead. It's 2-1.
I like Jordan Staal right there, too. He's another guy. I think you mentioned him earlier, man. He's on for another goal, and Necas again, man. Right.
Yeah, it's a good play there. I think it was. I'm trying to remember who took the pass. It was a nice feed. I think it was Pesce. Yeah, it was Pesce. As Necas goes up the center of the ice, and Siegenthaler, he got a piece, but not enough, and then Necas was able to score. So again, Necas is the beneficiary of a pass that gets broken up, but it slows up enough for him to take the shot. And right now, it's a little scary moment because Jack Hughes is not on the ice, who has the only goal so far, and now Martin Necas single-handedly has given the Hurricanes the 2-1 lead here in the second period.
So we were talking about at the beginning where Vanacek, what's the limit for him until he gets pulled?
3 goals.
3 goals.
To me, it's 3, honestly. I think it's 3 because right now he's still he just seems like too sporadic, and I know it's not fully on him, but at the same time, look at the difference when Akira Schmidt is in net. At times, like there's a calmer presence and everything like that. So it's frustrating when you give up goals like that. By the way, Jack Hughes is back on the bench.
Okay,
so I don't know if he heard the fact that the Hurricanes scored and then was like, "All right, to hell with this. Let me get back on the ice.
Get your ass out here. We got a problem."
Yeah, right. They're like, Jack, we're screwing up again.
We need you. That's what I was curious about because all of a sudden. It starts coming into question again. Vanacek letting in 2 goals. How many more is he going to let in this game? And, if you're the Devils, you have to find a way to respond as they're entering the offensive zone here.
Offsides?
Never mind. It's offside. I lied.
Offsides. 11:38 to go in the second period. Again, 2-1 now, Carolina, thanks to a second goal. Another nice shot.
Yes.
From Necas. By the way, they just showed the replay. Yes, Slavin hit Jack Hughes in the boards. We'll see it again. Yeah, he got crunched right in the boards. I don't know if it's an arm-shoulder thing, but yeah, he was slow to get up after that. But he's back on the ice right now. He's back on the bench, at least right now.
Okay, good. I wonder what the injury is. What do you think it would be?
What if it's like a separated shoulder and he's just playing through that right now?
I would love to know, what Myers' injury status is at the end of all this.
They'll say, oh, yeah, he has a deviated septum.
Yeah.
Can't sleep at night.
He's got a splinter.
His nose exploded into 2 pieces. We had to sew it back together. Funny fact, they're still talking about the hit on YouTube. I've seen videos that have popped up even today that are still talking about that hit.
I remember when we were watching it live, I don't remember it being it was obviously whoa, what are they doing? They were being stupid for that, blah, blah, blah. I didn't realize that how much traction that's gained.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think a lot of people look at it maybe it wasn't dirty, but it also didn't look good. As Smith with a shot that stopped. Rebound try is kicked away. Devils with some pressure. Smith with another shot that gets blocked by Gostisbehere. He used his hands for that one. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, it did. And also,
that was a good block from Gostisbehere there because that was a high-rising shot regardless.
Are you surprised that the shots are fairly low tonight?
No, I'm really not because, again, at some point I knew that both of these teams were going to kind of settle down as, Jordan Stahl called for offsides. Yikes. He would have had a great shot there if he had stayed on sides.
Okay, well, I mean, I like the pressure that we saw. Obviously, Smith just taking chances. It's quick shots from the point. Obviously getting the defense a little bit more involved too with the offensive push here. But, if Hughes is banged up here, and you're seeing that on the Devils bench clearly because he wasn't there for a brief moment, you got to expect Meyer and these guys looking at that going, okay, man, we got to step up as Hughes is on the ice right now.
Hughes is on the ice, and so I'll be curious to see if whatever was bugging him is going to affect him. Is now Luke Hughes comes up the right side, stops, waits, drops it over, but couldn't get it to Jack, his brother, and that puck comes out of the zone. That would have been a good chance if he gotten to him. Devils get it right back, and Tatar will flip it in. That's a guy I think the Devils really need to start getting going a little bit more, actually, Kyle, is Tomas Tatar. I know he's not one of the top guys, but when he gets going in the playoffs, as we've seen before, it really makes a difference. As that puck comes out in front, gives it shot there, and they score! And it's Pesce through traffic, and it's now 3-1 Carolina. Yeah, I think now is the time. I think now is the time to call a timeout.
Man, that's a bad goal.
That's a bad one. That should have been stopped by Vitek Vanacek. Let's see it again. Yeah, no excuse. He should have stopped it.
No, he saw the puck the whole way too.
I'm sorry, Kyle. Vitek he's in his own head way too much, and it's costing the Devils right now.
It's like
Devils have to get the next goal. There's no question.
Oh, 1,000%. But yeah, they're not going to pull him here. They're going to keep him in. But imagine if there's a fourth goal that goes in, Akira has to have. He's got.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not good right now. Carolina fans obviously happy, rightfully so.
Yeah,
rightfully so.
Rightfully so. I mean, no, I mean, it was, again, good pressure, good. Obviously Carolina's been seizing the moment here, knowing that they are getting a ban checks hat here. And I know the Devils trying to get going offensively again, but is that going to be a decision that might cost you guys?
It could be. It could be. It was something that was discussed by a lot of media people throughout the day and throughout yesterday as well, that, yeah, the Devils won, but Vitek did not really look all that good. They didn't win because of Vitek. They won because the offense scored 8 goals. Right. And it's something that is a concern going into game number 3. And you looked at the first period and you said, okay, Vitek was solid. He made some good saves.
Right.
It seemed fine. Just like we saw against the Rangers as well. It was the same thing. And then it's kind of imploded a little bit here in the second period.
I'm surprised that I honestly was like you.
That one's deflected just fine. Throws it in front again. Backhand try, and they score! Jesper Fast on a rebound, and the Hurricanes have blown it wide open. It's now 4-1. And honestly, Kyle, now it needs to happen.
Neil, I think that decision that they didn't start Akira Schmidt might have cost you this series.
It might have. It really might have cost them. And you know what? That will be also the thing that will probably cost Lindy Ruff his job.
Yep.
If I'm being honest. This is really hard to see because the Devils started off so well, and then Vitek again, just not in any position to make that
rebound. Save. Yeah, no, he can't. But oh no, come on, he's got to make that save. Are you kidding me?
Bad, yeah. And so that makes it now 4 games.
There's no effort.
And yeah, Vitek's done. Vitek is done. Here comes Akira Schmidt. Wow. Lindy Ruff has called a timeout. I'm actually happy about this.
Really? I haven't heard him call a timeout all playoffs long. But
I mean, Kyle, how many times during these playoffs have we said I've said at least, Lindy needs to call a timeout and he doesn't, and now he finally does. But he didn't. He didn't pull Vitek. He's going back. Oh God.
So hold on. He calls a timeout. You've got Ball on the ice. You've got Smith on the ice. Where are your top guys? Lindy, what did he say for that? He had a 10-second conversation there. What do you think he said? He had a 10-second conversation.
I have no clue. Right now, I think what's really bad, Kyle, is this. 4 goals on
That's so
15
bad.
shots if you're Carolina. That shot there is stopped by VTech. So,
Bro.
the Devils need a miracle if they want to still win this game. They need a miracle. Which, I mean, is not hard to ask for because we've seen 3-goal leads evaporate in these playoffs like it's nothing. So now the Devils come back the other way.
Apparently it is.
Apparently it is, right. Devils come back in. McLeod lost the puck. Puck comes around. Miles Wood gets to it. Wood tries to make a pass over. It's broken up. Luke Hughes trying to keep it in, but he can't. And Luke will have to give it back to Severson. Makes a feed over to Wood. Now back to Luke Hughes. Will come up the left side. Luke drops it to Wood. Miles Wood up the left side. Takes a shot. And that one is stopped by Anderson. Anderson's had, I'd say, a relatively quiet second period as Luke Hughes with a shot that gets blocked in front. Now Carolina gets off the boards now.
They've only had 4 or 5 shots that haven't been really high-quality chances.
Nope. I mean, again, Carolina, you can look at it. They give up a goal early in this game, and you think, oh, the Devils are going to, again, run wild on them. But Carolina just settled down, and now they've just made the Devils pay with a lot of things. And I spoke to, by the way, 3 goals in 3 minutes and 41 seconds for Carolina there. I mean, that is a statement if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I think, but I mean, what did I say at the beginning?
There's a shot there from Burns and he scores. Brent Burns makes it 5-1. Whoa.
What?
That might actually, I'm a Devils fan, but I'll say this right now. That was a sick shot.
That was a sick shot.
That was a sick shot.
That was sick by Brent.
Holy crap.
Wow. And Akira Schmidt's coming in.
And now Akira's gone. It's I don't know.
What did I tell you though? What did I tell you in the first
Kyle, I don't think we should. Kyle, here's why we shouldn't do Game 5. Every game is a blowout in this game.
What?
God, no, every game is a blowout. There's literally we get to a point where it's just neither team wants to play defense at some point.
Right. Yeah, it's okay. It was a good shot. Don't get me wrong, but
Lindy actually looks bamboozled on the bench. He looks like he has nothing to there's nothing he could do, and that to me is one of those things where it's
that decision. I am telling you that decision at the beginning of the game to put VTech in this game. I don't know if Akira Schmidt would let in 5 goals as well, but that might have just cost you the series. No joke.
No, Akira might give up a goal, maybe 2 if you're lucky.
Yep.
So at worst it would be 3-1 right now. And you'd say, okay, we're still in this game. Now it's 5-1. I don't. It's hard for me not to think that this game is already over, and we still have 6:45 to go in the second period.
Right, but I mean,
Jack Hughes with a shot that gets stopped by Marino. Marino tries to throw it off Anderson, but he missed him. Puck comes all the way back down. It'll be an icing against Carolina. So. By the way, Brent Burns leads the NHL in the playoffs with 82 shot attempts. That doesn't shock me at all.
Not at all. So, Neil, are we going to have another third period where it's going to be 5-1 and nothing's going on and then we got to entertain
Probably.
again?
Probably. I don't know what to tell you. Guys, I don't control how this goes. This isn't our fault. This is just both teams.
I think the NHL controls some of it.
Apparently so.
Apparently.
Hopefully, maybe the Kraken live watch along would be a little bit more back and forth.
You know what's funny is since Carolina's been scoring more, we've been getting more viewers on tonight. So clearly they're more Carolina.
I think it might be working. Right now we got 99 people in the chat. We appreciate all of you.
Appreciate it so much.
17 to 14, shots in favor of Carolina, which doesn't really tell you the story at all, honestly.
Yeah, it does. 5 goals on 17 shots.
Well, no, it doesn't in terms of are the Hurricanes dominating on the shots? No. No, it's just that Freddie Anderson went back to being really good again. But even then, what has he faced in his second period?
Right. I wouldn't even say he's going back to being really good. He had 2 or 3 good saves in that first period, which frankly, maybe that's all you need. But in the second period, I haven't he's made what 1 good save-ish?
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I'm honestly I'm still at a loss for I don't know what's going on anymore in this series.
Chandra, neither one of those people is going to play a game. If we are playing Mackenzie Black winning game 5, we might as well just end the season right now.
Right.
It's not even. I'm not even joking.
Right.
Nico
And
Dawes,
it goes
the
back.
dude is a rookie. Okay, like what do you want? Like, did you see? Like Nico Dawes did everything he could last year, and it still wasn't even that good.
I mean,
Why is it? Well, Schmidt is in net now, Sean, but why was he not in earlier? That's going to be a great question for Lindy
Schmidt
to have.
is in net. He's in net, but this is again. He lets in 5 goals this game for Vanacek.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing, Lindy? What are you?
This goes back as Palat gets knocked out. I don't. Okay, they did call a penalty.
Man,
took him that long.
What? So what? Your decision based on what? The fact that he only let in how many goals when it was in game?
No, there's no legitimate reason for it. If I'm being honest, there's just none.
What the fuck are you doing putting him back in net? Clearly, he's lost his confidence, and he knows it too. He's sitting there on the bench, shaking his head. Nothing's going right. Blah, blah, blah.
I have to be honest with you, Kyle. I know, like we're getting ahead of ourselves because this series isn't over, and I get
over yet.
Right?
They're going to come back from 4 games down or 3 games down or whatever.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's always possible. It's more likely than what the Leafs got going on right now.
No, it's not. For the Leafs, it's not. But I mean, like,
no, at least it's not.
We're in commercial here, but like, what I don't get from a coaching standpoint. Again, I'm a biased. I could care less. Don't get me wrong. I feel bad for you. But, like, if you've seen what Vanacek's track record's been, right, and you're having to decide who needs to go in, and we saw what happened in Game 3, how the floodgates open, why are you not going back to the guy that has had 2 shutouts in this playoffs? It makes no sense. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sorry. Vanacek should be ashamed for that tonight. That's pathetic.
I mean, that's real. I mean, think about it. Let's look at the 4 games that Vanacek has played in the playoffs, right? Started. 4 goal. Sorry. I think he gave up 5. No, 4 goals. It
wasn't even Akira's fault in the first 2 games because
4 goals
were on the defense.
Yeah.
They let them break out so many times 2-on-1 and all that, and they just let them go.
I think Lindy was hoping that just like he did with Schmidt, remember he put him – he put Schmidt in Game 3, and that kind of completely turned the series around.
Right.
I think he was hoping that Vitek would kind of find himself again.
Right.
And then do what he needs to do. But, like, this is the kind of thing that is going to concern Devils fans going into the offseason.
You know what?
Because for as great as Vitek had a regular season, and he did, he was awful in the playoffs. And that's something that he has had. He wasn't – go ask Capitals fans. It was the same thing when he was in Washington.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people – I've already heard rumors that the Devils may seriously consider looking at goaltending again in the offseason to say, we may have to look for someone else again.
Right. I wanted to bring up I can't pronounce it, sorry.
Ely?
Yeah. I wanted to bring that up because as much as it is their fault, Carolina's just been the better team this series. Let's just call it as it is. In 3 of the 4 games, we've been dominant.
And I'm not ashamed to say that either. I'm not ashamed to sit here and say that I think that the Devils have just quite frankly they've made a lot of mistakes, but Carolina's too good.
They are good. They're so good.
Carolina's very good. Like it's going to take a monumental effort. And maybe the Devils, as Luke Hughes just weaves his way through, drops it to Nico, missed him, gives it over. It's a little hard to do play-by-play at this point.
Yeah. No, I know. It's okay. Still, you got a power play, though, if they can find a way to get one in. But
if they can get, like, 2 goals, right? Just to think it in my brain. If they get, like, 2 goals and it's 5-3, I mean, it's not technically.
They scored 8, for fuck's sakes, last game.
They did. So it's not like they haven't done it before. I mean, 8 goals, they'd still be up by 3. That would be something. It's a shot there from Nico. Gets gloved down by Anderson.
Do you mind if I go to the bathroom real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. I'll keep the score up for you, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, it's 5-1 if you just are tuning in. Hurricanes have scored 4 goals in the span of about 5 minutes earlier in this period. They got Vitek Vanacek. They ran him out of the net, and so now they are currently up 5-1 and are very much looking like they are on their way to grabbing a commanding 3-1 series lead. Reminder, Game 5 will be on Thursday in Carolina. So the Hurricanes will have a chance, if they do hold on and win this game, will have a chance to end the series in 5 back at home, which is something that they really want. They know also that 3 of the final the two of the final 3 games of the series will be indeed in Carolina. So right now, everything is going exactly correct for the Hurricanes. Now the Devils set up on this power play. Severson with a shot, and that one is fought off by Anderson. And now Chatfield will get it out and cleared for Carolina with 3:20 to go in the second period, 33 seconds to go in the Devil power play. As now Hala dumps it around the zone, over to Mercer, tries to get over to Palat, out of his reach. Palat regains it though. Palat now in the right corner. Palat gets it top of the point, over now to Bratt, now to Severson, gets it back over to Palat, now to Mercer, tries to chip it over. Puck will slowly come out of the zone. Devils try to get to it. Mercer can't get to it. Hurricanes will now get to it again, and they'll just end the power play like that. So Devils don't do much of anything on that power play, and so they are still trailing 5-1. They're Slavin with a shot that goes wide of Schmidt. So as now that puck comes out, Bastian looks like he'll get to there first. Bastian throws it in front off of Anderson. Dougie Hamilton takes a shot that goes wide. So right now it looks like, I don't know. This is bad, to put it bluntly.
To put it bluntly, we'll talk about intermission. We got 2 minutes here. And
now 4.
You know what I was going to say?
In the first 4 games of the series, what the hell is going on?
What I was going to say before I went to the bathroom was all of this, and Lindy Ruff, I think you said he's a Jack Adams candidate. Is he he's a Jack Adams candidate?
Well, he's certainly not winning it now. I mean, if he had any shot of winning it, it went away with this game.
Well, it's regular season alone, but it's like,
I know.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't understand as a coach for a guy who's been your rock, who won you the series, frankly, because he had, what was it, against the Rangers? He came in after, what was it, game 2 he came in, or game 3 against the Rangers?
Game 3.
Game 3. He came in, they won, it was 3-1, and then he shut him out in game 4? Or game 5?
They won 2-1 in game 3. They won 3-1 in game 4, and then he shut him out 4-0 in game 5.
Right, and then he shut him out in game 7.
After having a bad game 6.
What I don't get is, okay, I understand what happened the first 2 games for Carolina. I put majority of the blame on that defense for the first 2 games. I thought they were atrocious. Yeah. I thought Akira Schmidt, because of the constant 2-on-1s, the constant turnovers that we were seeing, there was a lot of stuff that we were seeing by that defense where it was just unorthodox. And I don't put a lot of that on Akira Schmidt, maybe on a couple of the goals, but not all of them. I would put the majority of that on the defense. So you're going into a game 4 where you won 8-4 in the last game, in a game where you decided to put Vanacek back in. He still let in 4 goals, right? And you think, you know what? He's let in 4 goals for all 4 or more for those 3 games that he's in. I think he should go in again. Let's take out our guy who doesn't, who's had 2 shutouts this postseason.
Yeah,
in 5 or 6 games or whatever it is. It's a joke. That's a joke.
It's one of those decisions that really will get you fired. I mean, again, Lindy Ruff's contract comes up at the end of the year, so it's kind of one of those deals where, for all the good that he did this season, there was a reason. I know people like to make fun of. By the way, I just wanted to quickly look at this question. No, not really. I mean, he's been burned many times defensively, so no.
He was good last series. Yeah,
he was good last series, but Dougie's not a defensive defenseman. He's an offensive defenseman. He doesn't know how to play defense. Hurricanes fans can attest to this. Obviously, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well,
but in terms of,
we're going to be here a while, I think.
Oh yeah, we're going to be here a while.
We're going to be here a while.
I'm going to keep showing the score for all these lovely 84 people that are currently in the chat. 86 right now. It's a shot there from the Hurricanes is blocked in front. Puck flips up in the air. Jack Hughes can't get to it, so that's whatever. Jack looks dejected, which understandably so. I mean,
hurt.
Probably is nervous with a shot that's fought off by Schmid. It sucks also for Schmid because he's in a position where it's like, what can he do?
Yeah,
there's nothing he can do right now.
There we go. Sorry, I'm like breaking stuff.
No, you're fine.
I mean,
Schmid can do right now that's going to change anything.
I'm shocked just the amount of shots have been on net. It's not like the Carolina. I don't think Carolina's. I don't want to say like clearly they're the better team. We know it. Blah blah blah. As Stahl gets another chance here, takes it away. Blah blah blah. what I don't get is it's not like Carolina's been completely outdueling these guys in the second period. Like, they've had chances that they've just been burying, but I would argue that Vanacek needs to have some of those, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
He, quite frankly, I mean, to put it bluntly, he sucked. He just sucked tonight. He was not good. And he hasn't been good these entire playoffs. I don't know why Lindy can look at the fact that they won and just say that that's what it was.
Right.
Here's a good example. I'll give you a really good example. And great, it didn't work out for Minnesota, but Gustafsson won the first game for Minnesota, right? They won it in overtime. Right. You remember that? And they didn't go back to Gustafsson after game one. They went to Fleury for whatever reason that I don't understand.
Yeah. It didn't bite him in the ass.
Again, it didn't work out as now. Martinook with a shot, and he scores. Jordan Martinook continuing that. By the way, Jordan Martinook, hell of a series right now.
Yeah.
He makes it now 6-1 Carolina.
Yeah, that's a goal that Akira wants back.
Yeah.
That's a goal he wants back. Do I blame him a lot? Okay, yes, I blame him on the goal.
I feel so bad for Schmidt. I really do.
I do, because he's coming in cold.
What can he do? What is he? He's been cold for several days now. He hasn't played since what? The second period of game 2? Like, holy crap. And by the way, I'm just saying it. Let me just say this really quickly. The Hurricanes are the favorites, in my opinion, to win the Cup. I'm just going to go off of that.
Yeah.
Just because of the dominance that they've had without a bunch of their top guys.
What it's been is the response, right? What a response from yesterday, right? Marty Party, baby. Yeah, that was.
I love the Hurricane. I love the Hurricanes fans. Like, I love their support. I love it. By the way, they've also been like the nicest fans to me. Like, Hurricanes fans on social media have been nothing but like nice to me.
Yeah.
Just like funny as hell. By the way, the period ended, in case you gave a crap. 6-1. 6-1.
Right.
By the way, it's funny. They're showing Hurricanes fans. They're not even smiling. They're just kind of like.
They're like, yeah. It's what they expected, maybe, right?
What they want, right. So,
what else do you want?
Yeah, so it was 1-1 after 20 minutes, and now it's 6-1 Hurricanes. Kyle, do you want to say it now, or do you want to wait till we go to commercial break?
Say what?
Just your thoughts.
Oh.
No, your thoughts. Nothing. No, there's nothing for you to say. Like your thoughts.
Let's take a break.
Okay. So before we get into all of that, we're going to step aside for another moment to get another word from our sponsors. I need a drink. And welcome everybody here to the second intermission report of our game, Devils Hurricanes, game number 4 of this Eastern Conference semifinals. And if I were to tell you that it was 1-1 after 20 minutes, you'd say, okay, it looks like everything is kind of settled down. Well, after 40 minutes of play, this happened. 5 goals, 5 unanswered goals by the Hurricanes leads to them up 6-1 after 20. Kyle with a nice little trick there to kind of give you your entertainment.
I always do it. Nobody says anything. Come on. Like it's the perfect
I noticed it. I noticed it right away.
perfect thing.
I noticed. But
hey, cheers.
cheers.
It's gonna be okay.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers to everybody else too.
Yeah, cheers to all of you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, again, I say it all the time, but thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and interacting in the chat. We appreciate it. I can already tell looking at the score predictions, none of you, and I repeat, none of you are right. And you're not going to be right. So there's that.
Oh my God.
That's not enough. I'm not criticizing you guys at all.
All right. So,
just I got nothing.
Neil, this is your team. Floor is yours.
Or
do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first because
you don't know yet. Okay.
I'm also trying to have something. Oh, bro, they're showing Devils fans leaving the arena.
Oh, come on.
First of all, no, couple things. Number 1, Devils fans, shame on you. Number 2, ESPN, why? Why you got to be like that? Right? Why you got to be like that?
Yeah,
that's not funny.
Fair. Anyway.
And number 3, PK Subban, stop wearing yellow. It looks like crap on you.
It looks like he's wearing a piss stain all over his suit.
He looks look how depressed he looks.
Okay, I'll go. I'll let you gather your thoughts. Well, so what are you eating? Is that crackers?
I'm eating a garlic knot.
Oh, it looks like a donut almost. Or no? Oh no, it's garlic. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a garlic knot. Don't worry.
Okay, sorry.
I'm hungry. I'm a little hungry right now.
I don't blame you. Yeah, okay, I'll go first then. And just let us know in the comments too, just kind of what your thoughts were throughout the second and all that. Feel like we're gonna have a really good talk here in the third period because I feel like the commentating might not matter, which honestly, I'm so mad that we can't have a close game. We've been this fourth fucking game where it hasn't been close. I want one close game, for God's sakes. Please, just even if you have to go to overtime, let it happen. But Neil, don't get me wrong. I feel bad. I do feel bad for you, honestly. And I think the decision to put Vanacek in tonight might haunt you. For it's not over, right? It's not over. They're down 3-1, going to game 5, but it's tough. It's a tough look because I can't remember who asked the question. I think D. Ely or whatever asked earlier if the Canes were the best team in the playoffs. I think your answer is what we just saw in the second period. A lot of the times they were talking about this yesterday on one of the sports networks I was watching about teams having a response, right? And how the Leafs didn't have a response, right? Good teams that make deep runs to win the Stanley Cup will have a response. And that's exactly what you're seeing from Carolina tonight. You saw them get their ass kicked yesterday, 8-4, whatever. They were down 5-1, whatever. They say, no, that's not us. We're never going to let that happen again. We're going to show you why we're pissed off about that. And it clearly shows tonight as, I don't want to say, part of me wants to say, I don't think they've been outplaying them that badly. I don't think it's been outrageous. It's just, it's a combination of the defense just letting too many opportunities go through and your goaltending just not being there. And I'll say this because I don't know if this is what you were thinking as the playoffs begun. You had to be worried a little bit about your goaltending going into the playoffs because you don't have a guy, you don't have a number one, you didn't have a number one goalie. I'll just rattle them off here, Vasilevsky, maybe for the Leafs, Samsonov, Shesterkin, right? The list goes on. Hellebuck, Sorokin, right? You don't have a number one guy. And that's why I was surprised when we were talking about it even earlier this afternoon, why there was rumors going out there why Wedgwood would get a start. Because Black.
Wedgwood is the backup for
Yes.
Dallas.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Devils.
Sorry, Mackenzie Blackwood.
Love Wedgwood.
Right. Why wasn't Schmidt starting tonight, man? Why wasn't he starting tonight? You ripped the confidence away from him, and you know what? That's probably going to cost you. So, I mean, full credit to Carolina. I mean, for just taking the opportunities and burying them when they had to. I don't know what to tell you, Neil. I really don't. It's just honestly, it's not even like I'm mad. I think you might be feeling the same thing. You're disappointed that this is the kind of shit that we're starting to see. You come in 3 times, 3 of the 4 games that you're playing in these playoffs, and you get your ass kicked 5-1, 6-1.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
It kind of brings up what I've heard a lot about the Devils for years about nobody takes them seriously because this is the type of performance you get. A lot of people, especially if the Devils obviously are going to lose tonight, and if they do lose in 5, a lot of people will look at it and say that it was a fluke, that the Rangers were a bounce or 2 away from winning that first round series and everything. I think that tells you a lot more about the Rangers than it does the Devils, quite frankly. The Devils are just getting started with what they are capable of doing long term. And I've often said that any Stanley Cup team has to go through some form of adversity or embarrassment to win it. It's not easy. Look at Tampa. Tampa gets swept in the first round by the Blue Jackets. Mind you, the Blue Jackets are a hot steaming pile of garbage right now.
I think, but just quickly to interrupt, I think that's different because at the time, Columbus was coming in on a heater going into the playoffs. They were a very, very hot team going in. And Tampa was dealing with, I don't know if it was injuries, but they were also on a cold streak going in. They were talking about that. So, but yes, to your point, still like getting embarrassed for nothing.
Right.
Continue.
Look at Colorado. Colorado just 5 years ago was in dead last in the NHL. And they went through several years of not getting out of the second round. They finally get over the hump and they win the Stanley Cup, right? Carolina, really good example. Carolina, up until this year, has constantly failed in the second round. Last year, you had a 3-2 lead and you let it go and you lost games. You got blown out in game 7 at home to the Rangers. That was not good. There's also a reason why a lot of Hurricanes fans wanted the Devils to beat the Rangers in 7. Because they didn't want to play them again, which I get. I don't want to throw out the narratives that this Devils team is young or they're inexperienced, and that's why they're getting their ass kicked.
Right.
It's not why they're getting their ass kicked. The reality is that it's 2 things. One, Carolina, as much as people don't want to admit it, is still a very good hockey team without all of their stars. And Rob Brind'Amour is actually a very good coach. I know that's hard for some people to believe, but not only is he a Hall of Fame player, if he wins a cup, maybe 2, he might be a Hall of Fame coach. I'm not even joking about that. Right. So that's one thing. I want to give Carolina their flowers because they're that good. They are that good. When you look at it from the Devils' perspective, the thing that has failed them the most for years, and last year was a very big example, the fact that they don't have a goaltender. They don't have a consistent number 1 goaltender. They haven't had one since Corey Schneider a couple of years ago. And at one point, Corey Schneider was a really great goaltender in this league, but he couldn't win very much because the team couldn't score. Right. I've often said you pair this Devils team with Corey Schneider in his prime, Devils are even better than where they are right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were going to say something?
No. I was just going to chime in. So why wasn't Akira starting tonight? Yeah, now that you say that.
That brings me to my next point.
We'll finish your point, and then I do want to get to the comments because we got a lot coming in. So, yeah.
Sure. I'm not even looking at the comments right now.
I got it.
It's just I'm trying to process what I just saw. By the way, Jordan Eberle, great outfit for Game 4.
Oh, that's
really
a sexy human being, right? I
can see why the Islander fans love them.
Jeez.
And Oilers fans, too.
That's a man. He's such a man rocket.
Anyway. Oh, yes. Lindy Ruff has done this for several years where he gets emotionally connected to certain guys. And despite whether they're playing good or not, will play them regardless. That was a criticism I had when Miles Wood was playing earlier in these playoffs and he wasn't helping the team. He was letting him play, and he shouldn't have. He should have benched him a lot sooner. Luke Hughes, Spit and Chicklets said it, should have been playing earlier in the series. Should have been playing in game 2, quite frankly. They might have turned it around then.
Yeah.
Akira Schmid, as much as he struggled in games 1 and 2, wasn't like he was giving up soft goal after soft goal. He was getting no help back there on the back end. None. And he ends up getting punished by not playing game 3. The Devils win in spite of Vitek giving up 4 goals.
Right.
He really was bad. And Vitek comes in tonight and he gave up 5. And the reality is that the Devils season will end based on Lindy Ruff making that decision to not play Schmid and playing Vitek when Vitek has no confidence right now.
Right. So last thing before we kind of move on to the comments here. What does this tell you about the Islanders and Ilya Sorokin and pushing that series? That series could have gone 7.
It should have gone 7. Let me be clear. It should have gone 7.
Okay, fine. Fair enough.
That's my opinion.
What does that tell you about the importance of goaltending when it comes to the playoffs in a general sense?
It is the most important position in sports. I'm not even joking.
Agreed.
I know that's biased because I'm a hockey guy. But you know what? I saw the Tampa Bay Rays go to the World Series with literally no number 1 starter in baseball. I've seen an NBA team win a championship with 2 star players, and that's it. Okay? Yep. I have seen in the NFL, I have seen teams win a Super Bowl with a terrible quarterback. Trent Dilfer, good example. Nick Foles.
Was Russell Wilson a bad quarterback at the time?
Not at the time. Okay, maybe he is now, but not
at
the time.
Yeah, just
I'm sorry. No, your Seahawks are not in this. It was not what I was going for.
Judo.
But every single Stanley Cup champion has a really good goaltender. Right. Say what you want about Darcy Kemper, but he was very good and won a cup with Colorado. Yeah. They needed good goaltending to win, quite frankly. Against that Tampa team, oh yeah. Look at Jonathan Quick, phenomenal in 2012 and 2014. 2012 in particular was phenomenal. Look at games 1 and 2 against New Jersey. Sorry, Devils fans, I don't mean to beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
But they won the first 2 games in overtime. Why? Because Jonathan Quick was amazing. You know what? You know why Seattle right now is up 2-1? Because Philip Grubauer found his game again.
Also, sorry that you mentioned Jonathan Quick there. Where'd he go?
He's their third goaltender in Vegas.
Third goaltender behind Aiden Hill?
Aiden Hill's the backup. Ask Jacob, he'll tell you.
What?
Think about it. No, and you think Quick cares? No, because he might be details of putting himself in third.
Wow. Okay. Let's jump to the comments. How about that? I know we've been kind of avoiding that a little bit. Let's do it.
Yeah, I was really shocked. Neil and I chatted on Twitter. Oh, this is Sam. What's up, Sam? Good to see you, man.
This is Sam from the Caniac Report. He's another guy we have on the network. Super nice guys. Both of them that do it, I believe they're both named Sam. So there you go.
That's awesome. He says, anyway. I'm extremely shocked. Neil and I chatted on Twitter via our pods. We did. We chatted a bunch yesterday about this. I said it would be a low-scoring game. He and I both kind of agreed that we thought that Game 4 would finally settle things down.
Right.
We're both off. I mean, I talked to Sam after Game 2, and he said the same thing. He said, I don't know where this offense is coming from. Right. I don't know why all of a sudden they've woken up, but they're pressing all the right buttons. What did Donnell say? I didn't see.
Sorry. Donnell had
up, and that's why the Devils are getting blown out. I mean, yeah. Well said, Donnell. That's all I got.
Yeah.
You all see the draft lottery, and what do you think of the results? Chun-Li, by the way, good to see you, Chun-Li. Hope you're doing well.
We had so many people on last night. It was kind of scary, not going to lie. Just kind of quick thoughts on the lottery. I mean, we all saw, I think a lot of people were pissed off. We talked about it earlier on, too. I know we covered it, too, with Chicago winning it all and how everybody's calling it to be rigged and all that. I frankly don't give a shit, to be honest with you. I don't care if it's rigged or not, right? Show the balls on the lottery on TV. Don't show them. I don't care anymore, right? As a hockey fan, as a fan who's passionate, right? And it's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Right? What are you gonna do?
You're gonna keep bitching about the fact that this league is rigged. How about enjoy the fact that we have this league in the first place? Right? Like, be happy that we get to watch playoff hockey. I'm getting so tired of people calling, like, it's getting to the point where it's getting ridiculous to the fact that, oh, now the lottery's rigged, the draft is rigged, the free agent decisions are all rigged. Oh, we're getting the refs are rigged too. Can't forget about the refs. I'm getting so pissed off with people talking about it because it's like, how about you enjoy the fucking game for what it is? Who cares? You're not the one wearing the stripes. You're not the guy rolling the balls. Who cares? Enjoy it.
I feel bad for the guy rolling the balls.
Right. That's why
I really do. Like, I feel bad for him because what is he supposed to do?
That's why I brought up, like, again, I was very fortunate to meet Kyle Davidson early on in my schooling years, and I'm super happy for him that he's able to start with a guy like Connor Bedard.
By the way, the third period started.
Third period started here.
Kyle, should scoreboard or no?
Yeah, scoreboard. Why not?
All right,
for a little bit. We'll do it for a little bit.
All right, the shot there from the Devils gets blocked.
But just to wrap it up, you can have your comment here on the lottery, and we'll kind of move on to more comments here. I don't care about if it's rigged or not. I genuinely don't care. Don't get me wrong, Neil. Like you mentioned earlier about like yes, it looks so bad. It looks bad on the league, right?
Yeah.
But would we be saying the same thing if Chicago won it next year, or the year after that, or the year after that?
No, so, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, I think us as sports fans, I'm just talking about sports fans in general.
Right.
It's so easy for all of us to say things are rigged. And look, don't get me wrong. There are been plenty of times in sports where it felt very obvious that things were called in a certain way that only favored a certain team for whatever reason you want to put in.
Right.
But I think in this situation, it's the lottery. Like, I will give you one time. Kyle. What's going on, Andrew? Good to see you, man. Andrew, I'm sorry if you're not doing well, man. I know things are tough in Toronto.
Canes and
4. Good to see you, man. Canes and 4 actually showed up. Canes and 4 actually showed up during the Devils Rangers series and was talking with us. So they've been around for a while.
Okay, continue.
By the way, giveaways, Kyle, in this game, 20-1 in favor of the Devils. No, and that doesn't mean. Sorry, I didn't mean to say in favor. 20-1. Devils have 20 giveaways. Hurricanes have 1.
Wow.
So there you go. That could be a big reason why it is what it is. But I'll give you one example. There was like maybe one time in the history of sports where I would say the lottery was rigged, and that was the year that when
the Devils won.
No,
you're gonna say.
How would somebody did say that today that like the NHL rigged it for the Devils so that the New York, New Jersey market would be like fully good, and I'm like, that makes literally no sense.
So stupid. Like, let it be, man. This is why we have a lot. I'm sure people would have made a bullshit excuses for Anaheim winning if Columbus won or whatever because they needed Johnny Gaudreau for somebody to play with. There would have been an excuse with every single freaking team.
Yeah.
It just so happened that the worst excuse was Chicago. Continue.
That's a good point. Yeah, no. And it wasn't even in hockey. It was in basketball. It was when the Knicks got Patrick Ewing, and everyone talks about the frozen envelope that like everyone said that like it was there, and you could obviously tell it was. So that the Knicks could get Patrick Ewing because at the time the Knicks were a steaming pile of garbage. And they needed like a star player. And like, I get that. And like, that's the only time I could say like, okay, it makes too much sense. And I think it's leaning that way. Then again, I think the NBA is probably the most egregious in terms of how they go about their officiating and like how they want certain things to happen.
Right.
By the way, there's another topic I want to discuss with you, Cox. We've talked about this guy before. Canes fans are loud. Really, I would never have guessed that.
Before you do, hold that thought for a second because I just want to bring up what Connor's saying here about Carolina being the perfect silent assassin. And that's such a good way to put this Carolina team. I feel like they're that team. Like
no respect. They don't get any respect.
They don't get any, man. Yeah. Sorry, continue what you were going to say, though.
No, and I think also with Carolina, I think a lot of people looked at the fact that they didn't have all of their talent to start this series.
Right.
And said, oh, they're probably not going to do well. And I think that that's crap. By the way, Jordan Martin-Kyle, 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points in this series alone.
Right.
Conn Smythe candidate right now? Question mark?
I think so.
Can a coach win Conn Smythe?
I'm so behind on the comments. I'm so sorry.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
32 teams is why Chicago should be Ducks instead. It's not fair. Yeah, well, you know what? Life isn't fair.
Life really isn't fair.
Life's not fair.
Life is not fair. Oh, by the way, Timo Meier is hurt on the bench, in case anyone wants to know.
You want to talk about life not being fair? Look at my goddamn team right now.
His hockey team, not his football team. His football team is fine.
Geno Smith. Let's go, Geno.
Honestly, not a bad contract to give Geno Smith. I just want to point that out.
I love the draft that we had, too. Remember that we had a good draft? What was the game that we had?
Schneider, right? That's their GM. What's his GM?
Yeah, Don Schneider.
He's still killing it.
What was the draft night that we did for? I think it was Devils Rangers game going on, and we had the draft going on. So we're kind of like, what's going on here?
We were watching the NFL. Yeah. I had to, during the intermission, I would flip over to the NFL draft, and we'd be talking about what team select. We didn't get to every pick. It was just really funny that because it was another blowout. That was one of the games that we did that was a blowout. It was like, oh, okay.
Life's not fair though. Look at my team. Look what they're doing. They're doing so bad. We just fired our GM and our head coach. Have you
Does Gerard?
No, I don't want him.
I was going to say, does Gerard Gallant become the next coach of the Calgary Flames? No. Oh, my. Ow. Brendan Smith laying the body on Timo Meier. Not in a good way.
Wait.
I mean, there was no good way.
Wait, is it a highlight? Or because I'm pretty sure.
No, they just showed, Meier got hurt because he ran into Smith.
Ooh, got it. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
So, yeah.
Anyway, I've been too heated for tonight. This is crazy.
Yeah,
I think I'm just mad at the fact that it's just.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. The problem is that every game that Kyle and I have done in this series, and they've been 3 out of the 4 games, and even the game we didn't do, was also a blowout. I mean, that's basically what it's been.
Right? I mean, but hey, you know what? We have another stream tonight.
We do.
That might not be a blowout. And you guys should still check it out. It is.
I hope it's not. I mean, game 3 for them was a blowout.
Yes. Yeah.
That's rough.
I might be making a very short appearance because it is their first time doing a stream, so I just want to make sure that they do it okay. So if you guys are curious, that will start in about 25 minutes or so.
Yeah. Devils are going to the power play with 15:26 to go. I mean, I'm just chilling. I feel like I would be chilling like this if the Devils were up 6-1.
Sure.
Because I wouldn't really know what to say.
That's fair.
I mean, they're like.
I don't blame you.
Like it's a different like situation. It just sucks. Right now, what sucks about it is that obviously the series is not over after tonight. Like I know that. I know that. So
right. Maybe something we haven't really talked about. We haven't talked about the Leafs and the Panthers much because they are in the same side conference-wise as your Devils here. What are your thoughts after Florida's gone up 3-0 in the series?
I think it says a lot more about the Panthers than it does about the Leafs.
Really? Ooh, do tell.
I mean, what do you expect from that core from the Leafs at this point? Like, I don't get everybody's stunned that Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares have done, excuse my language, have done dick in this entire series.
Right.
Why is that a shock? They've been screwing up like that all the entire time they've been together. What shocks me is this. What shocks me is how deadly the Panthers are. And I mean deadly. By the way, the Hurricanes almost scored a shorthanded goal. Now they just drew a penalty.
Ooh.
Might be a shot there. And
Devils will go it'll be 4-on-4 for 40 seconds.
I don't know. I don't care.
It'll be 4-on-4 for 40 seconds. Yeah.
Right.
We don't care about the game, by the way, guys.
Kyle, you and I both agree. Toronto sucks. They just suck.
I knew they did. I knew even
I
after
expected a little bit better than being down 3-0 and not showing up, period.
I'm not.
Maybe
I'm not surprised.
I
I'm
feel
really
like game
not.
3, they were better, but
Right.
I think Steve Dangle said it himself after game 3. He said, honestly, game 3 was the worst of the games he's seen from this team, and they almost won it anyway. Which is saying a lot, isn't it?
It's just so much, but like it goes
I'm
back.
scared.
It goes back, and he was talking about it yesterday.
I'm scared. If it was game 4 tomorrow, I'm terrified of that release. I'm terrified. I'm scared. I don't know if he's going to completely break down at that point. I don't know.
That's gonna be so fun. Here's what I'll say though, just about that series alone.
Sure.
When it comes to like not just the teams, but just the way the trajectory of it's going, I'm one to believe that the Leafs will win tomorrow night. I think they find a way to win tomorrow night. I don't care how it is. I think they win. So I don't think.
How confident are you they're going to win tomorrow?
I'm not.
Honestly,
I'm not. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, it's like the way you were saying that, it sounded like you're not so sure.
But I understand why there's no confidence, because your top 4 guys that you're paying half your salary cap for hasn't scored, right? So I mean, I don't have the confidence that the Leafs aren't, guys. They're not winning the series. It's over. It's over. But you can book it. It's over. You think this team's going to come back after 4 of these guys haven't scored all series long?
He's talking about the Leafs, by the way, guys. I don't think he's not talking about the Devils. He's talking about the Leafs.
But also, like, I'll relate this a little bit back to New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
In the fact that when Steve was talking about it, in the sense that it is a mental warfare game a little bit. And I want to bring up a quote that you said. I can't remember if it was in game 2 or game 1. The series isn't over until you lose one at home.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we're seeing tonight.
Right.
Which is what we've seen from Toronto losing their first 2 games in game 1 and game 2. Doesn't mean that I like the series. Trust me, I said it before, even before the second round began. These series are never over. You got to win the 4th game.
Of course.
That's why
that could be a pressure cooker for Carolina. Not saying that they're going to blow it, but like they've had this opportunity before to win that 4th game, and they didn't get it done. Now, granted, they were up 3-2 with game 6 being in New York, but then they lost game 7, and we all know that in game 7 anything can happen. I mean, look at goddamn Florida this year, Seattle.
Also, if you guys are wondering, nothing's been happening this period.
Oh yeah, nothing's happening. Like nobody, like I know, like the fact that we still have 76 people in here right now is a testament to you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let's go.
But yeah, I mean, isn't anything going on right now?
Neil, I'll tell you this. Going back to this game here with about 10 minutes left, 11 minutes left.
Sure.
I think this still goes 6 games at the bare minimum. I think it goes 6. And that's about it.
I personally would love to see the Devils have one last response. Maybe, not saying they're going to come back from down 3-1.
The good teams in the playoffs have a response. The
and you know
Oilers
what?
responded. The Golden Knights responded. The Kraken responded. The Stars, we'll see if they respond tonight. You can check that out on our THPN YouTube channel for live stream happening in 20 minutes. The Stars could respond. The Panthers have won 6 straight games in a row, right? The Devils being down 2-0 responded. The Hurricanes losing that game in game 3 responded. The Leafs, all these teams have responded. You notice how I kind of glossed over there? Did you see that? No.
You said the Leafs went silent for 2 seconds and then just kept going.
And then just moved on. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Good teams in the playoffs will find a way to respond. So I'd like to believe that the Devils are going to in game 5, but considering what happened in Carolina in the first 2 games, I don't know. That's why I'd like to believe that there's going to be a game 6, but I'll leave it for you.
I've said it numerous times before, and I know I sound like a broken record, but I do believe that this Devils team, whenever they've had some form of adversity or they've been challenged and a lot of people are questioning them, they answer the bell and they seem to respond. During the regular season, uh, only twice did they ever lose more than one game in a row.
Right.
Most of the time they would lose, and then they would come back and reel off maybe 2 or 3 wins and just respond, and that's great. But it's different, obviously, in the playoffs. And look, they don't have the home ice advantage. This is not like New York. It's not against the Rangers.
Right.
This is going to be, that from this point forward, you have to win the final 3 games and 2 on the road. Now, the Devils are one of the best teams on the road in this season. They've won a couple games on the road in the playoffs, but they're 2-3, I think, on the road right now. So
Right.
which is better than some other teams. Let's put it that way. What just happened?
No, just see the comment here by Jacob.
Oh my God, Jacob! Jesus
Christ, man!
Jacob, this is a family channel. For the love of
No, it's not.
I know it's not. I just wanted to say that.
Absolutely not.
Jesus Christ, Jacob.
Oh my God! I'm gonna go back to the comments.
The fact that you know that, by the way, you know who she is.
No, we don't need to get into it.
Now, if Carolina blows this series, I will be shocked. Devils roster, too young and inexperienced. Brendan Moore should have them under control unless our players get hurt.
I think it's not being talked enough that Brendan Moore is, if anything, if it wasn't for Jim Montgomery's incredible season, why wasn't Rod Brendan Moore up for Jack Adams?
It's a great question because, I look at it like,
right?
I think you make an argument for, it's tough because I think for Jim Montgomery, he had a great year, but what a terrible way to go out. Comparatively to both Dave Haxtell, who rightfully, in my opinion, deserves to be up there, because look at what he's doing in Seattle.
Bro, that's
Lindy Ruff,
Seattle team, man.
I mean, Lindy Ruff was able to get this Devils team to the playoffs, and they're in the second round right now. So, I always believe that these awards need to be included for playoffs because I think then you get a way more good idea as to how valuable are these players, how good are these players, how good are these coaches and stuff. I think, you mentioned it before. Look at the way Lindy Ruff has coached in this game alone. In this game alone would easily, in my opinion, eliminate him as a finalist for Jack Adams because what the hell? Look at Andrew Burnett last year with Florida, right? He got them to the playoffs, had a phenomenal year, and they get their butts handed to them by Tampa. And then he gets fired. Or, excuse me, he doesn't get brought back. That's what I meant.
Man, they were just showing highlights about Frederick Anderson, just like the shots that he's had tonight. Nothing that's really tested him at all.
He had one bad game. He had one bad goal, which is again the only goal he gave up. And when he's had to make a save, he has. That's what it is.
It's true.
Let me ask you this, Kyle. I'm curious to know about this from your perspective.
Yeah, shoot.
You got 9 minutes to go in this game. You're Rod Brendan Moore. You got 9 minutes to go. You're clearly on your way to win this game. Are you already your mind is not even thinking about this game anymore? Are you already sitting there saying, what does my team got to do to end this series in Game 5? Is he already just thinking about that?
I can't. I mean, I don't know. But I would think if I'm in his shoes, I'm just thinking you got 9 minutes left here. Just get your team to the end. Nothing stupid. Don't do any stupid shit. Nothing that's going to cost these guys. Just play your game. Play good. It's playing good defensively. Do what you can offensively. You got 9 minutes left in this game, right? So you're not going to score 5 goals in the last 9 minutes. We all know it. So it's just a matter of just get your team to the end of it and let's go home, right? There's nothing major that he needs to do. He's probably going to roll. I imagine that this is probably a time too where it's important in the sense of looking forward to Game 5 and the fact that he's probably not playing his guys a lot of minutes. He's probably giving the guys who are bottom 6 guys a lot more minutes, maybe considering where we're at. Not to say that he's not starting his top 6 at all, but he's probably juggling the lines a little bit here, just giving them a chance to breathe and that sort of thing. And he's probably giving some guys some well needed rest.
Yeah, no question. And
you might say the same for for New Jersey.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you as like a follow-up question, is that if you're Lindy Ruff right now, I mean, what are you doing? Like, what exactly are you doing in these last 8.5 minutes of this game?
We got 8 minutes. We're getting the end of it. We're getting there.
Yeah. I guess that's the way to look at it. I mean, it's just, I guess the question I have from the Devils is this the type of loss that's going to pretty much put the Devils in a mindset of, we are just not good enough to beat this team. We're not going to come back. You know, I think those questions definitely linger.
Neil, your season's over. Just to,
I mean, I'm not going to say that until it's actually
of course not.
over,
I
get it.
I know.
No, I get it. I know.
I know you don't want to hear it, but
no, I get it. I mean, you know what'll suck the most is that if this is the last game of the season in New Jersey for this team, it's a really sad way to go out.
Right. And guys, if we can stop spamming the comments too, that'd be great.
Oh, wait, are we spamming?
No, I just had a guy. I just got rid of him.
All right.
Anyway, yeah.
Don't spam, guys. We appreciate Lindy Ruff is done. Probably. Again, he won't be fired because his contract is up at the end of the year. So he just won't be brought back.
Right.
That's what happened to Peter Laviolette in Carolina. In Washington. He wasn't fired by the Capitals. He just was not brought back.
Right.
And so I guess the question really is going to be for this Devils team is going to be, you know, it's not even a question, actually. It's really, for me, it's this. The biggest good news coming from losing like this and being down 3-1.
Yep.
You can take all the chances in the world up until this point because you got nothing to lose, right? Absolutely nothing to lose except the series.
Yeah. But
that's all I got. I mean, it's not. I know it's not great.
It's not what you want to hear. I know. Yeah, it's
no,
of course. Sam just talked about. I believe when you look at what the Kraken did and Boston did, and honestly, the Devils again, as a Canes fan who loves Rhodey, I think the coaches chosen for season was correct. Oh, like he's talking about the Jack Adams.
Oh,
right. Okay, sorry, I was kind of missing what he was saying there.
No, I get it. You know, it's just kind of one of those deals where it's like, I look at it and I say to myself, I think that Lindy Ruff earned the right to be a finalist from what he did in the regular season, to go from fire Lindy after 2 games to sorry Lindy. I'm sure a lot of people are going back to fire Lindy after this game, because if Akira Schmid had played this game and it was this bad,
right?
That's Sharon, I'm glad you brought this up, because for those of you that don't know, the Devils brought up a bunch of young players from the Utica Comets yesterday and are what they call the Black Aces. They're basically just going to be there for the most part to just practice with the team, but they are eligible to come in at any moment if the Devils want to do that. I am not saying you got to be that dramatic and throw in all these young guys, but maybe it gives them a jolt, just having a different look.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Just real quick, guys, we got about 5 minutes before the other stream starts on THPN. It will be the game 4 between the Seattle Kraken at home against Dallas. If you guys do want to check that out, I know that nothing's really happening here, so if you guys do want to go check that out, they're so fun, these guys too. Again, I know we've been talking all stream long. These guys are so fun to watch, and they're so fun to listen to, and it's gonna be their first one, and I hope that you guys can go enjoy it. As I'm sure that'll be a good game tonight. So I'm sure it's going to be okay.
For the love of God, please.
I'm
saying this for the sake of the network. For the love of God, please.
Jordan Martinook was placed on waivers on October 7th earlier this year.
Wow, the Hurricanes were almost idiots.
They placed him on waivers.
I mean, that's
October
crazy.
7th, 2022, they placed him on waivers.
And look at him now, 10 points in 4 games in this series.
Crazy.
I mean, he has been, to me, he's the MVP of this series. He has been phenomenal. He's been the most consistent of any Hurricanes player,
right,
in this series. Let me ask you this, Kyle. We've talked about him before, but I'm really curious right now. Jesper Bratt has done nothing. And I mean nothing in this game. Granted, a lot of players
have done nothing.
A lot of guys are doing nothing. right?
Right.
But I'm just curious to know, with him coming up very small so far in these playoffs, because he
Right.
only has one goal and it was an empty net goal.
Right.
Do you think that just makes it that much easier for the Devils to just be like, nah, we don't feel like keeping you around long term because why? We don't trust you as much as we trust other guys on this team
Right.
to be there consistently. Like, does that just make it easier?
I don't know. I think that we're having these talks right now is just it's a little alarming because the season is not over yet.
No, it's not.
But it does bring up a good question. I mean, you're going to have a lot of interest if this, in fact, goes the way that it's going to go. I mean, we're still going to be here for Game 5. It's not over, right? But it's going to bring up a lot of questions with your core going forward about, who's going to step up now when times get tough, right? Like goaltending wise, is Akira Schmidt. I think you're going to have a lot of questions going into the offseason. It's going to be a lot.
I don't think you have a lot of questions about Akira Schmidt. That's just my opinion on that. I think Akira Schmidt has done enough in this postseason to kind of make a lot of us believe that that's how it goes. Was this Fast? Foss not on the bench for carrying. All right. I mean, Jesper Foss does have a goal in this one. So we'll see. We'll see if that becomes a factor.
We'll see. We got 5 minutes left, Neil. Here, I imagine there won't be a long post game.
I'm just gonna do this.
Nothing's. Yeah, that's okay.
There really is nothing going on. You're not. Yeah. None of you are missing.
We don't want to obviously drag this on too long. We'll watch the last 5 minutes here, and then I'm sure we'll wrap it up fairly quickly. Neil, in your that second period, what happened? What happened? Wait, did you type that?
No.
What?
Is that Dylan?
Is it Dylan? I'm so
Dylan, are you Dylan, did you just hack into this right now, my guy? Wait, or is this another? Wait a second. Is this just like someone else?
I don't know what's
going on. Twitch, I'm lost. You all just completely confused the crap out of it. Please don't confuse me. By the way, we got 69 people in the chat right now. Nice. Oh, now it's not nice. Now it's 68. Can someone else just jump in really quickly? But what happened? VTech imploded. Again.
You're putting it all on VTech.
Yeah. Because here's why. I have enough time to explain this. So,
dude, we got 5 minutes in a commercial.
I know.
69, nice.
There's another goaltender on this team by the name of Mackenzie Blackwood. And I bring him up because of this reason. At one point, Blackwood was considered to be the future goaltender of this team, long term.
Right.
Then he started getting hurt. And then he started to suck. And then no matter what Blackwood would do, the team would fail around him. They would still make mistakes. They would give up defense. They would have defensive breakdowns. He could have a phenomenal game. He had a great game early this year. He stopped 45 shots in a 2-1 loss to the Seattle Kraken in overtime.
Right.
And everybody got on him and blamed him for why we lost. And I argued to say, well, you're partially right. You're wrong because he had a phenomenal game and he had no support. But you're right because of the many other times that he imploded that made this team sit on the bench and say, we have no faith in VTech. I mean, we have no faith in Blackwood.
What does that tell you about that?
That's what you see right now. I'm sorry?
No, just continue. Yeah.
When you see VTech in these playoffs, the Devils have no faith in him.
Right.
None. I don't think Andrew Burnett makes that decision. I don't think Ryan McGill makes that decision.
Right.
I quite frankly don't think Tom Fitzgerald makes that decision. I think the Devils. Sorry, go ahead.
No, real quick. They're showing highlights here. I think the only person who's been good tonight for the Devils has been Luke Hughes.
And that's
sad. They were showing
Jack had a goal, but
they were showing his defensive breakout with the speed that he has, and he freaking bombs it through the neutral zone, and he's setting it up real quick in the offensive zone, and
he's going to be great. He's going to be a great player.
Great, yeah. Sharon bring it. I know it sucks.
I think I found peace. If they lose next game, I actually would be fine with it. just showed they weren't ready for the playoffs, I don't think. By the way, Sharon's a good friend of mine she's a big fan of the podcast, so I appreciate Sharon. Good to see you.
Yep.
Look, I know it's very easy for all of us in Devil's World to just sit here and reflect now and think about where the season is gone and all that stuff. But again, the series is not over. If the Devils win game 5, you look at it and you say to yourself,
Right.
okay, we could go back home and maybe we win that game. All of a sudden it's a game 7. And I mean, shoot, I laugh all the time. I say, you know what, Kyle? The Devils at one point won 13 in a row this season.
Right.
I know it's the regular season, but still.
Also,
but
nothing's happened this third period, guys.
no, like both teams are doing nothing. Like Carolina doesn't care, and I don't blame them.
Nothing. Yeah.
They're not trying to do anything. I think they're just trying not to get hurt. Going back to VTech, VTech had a phenomenal regular season, an historic one, quite frankly. He is literally only the second goaltender in Devils history. Wins in Carolina Barnes. Oof, that's going to be tough. Oh yeah, Stoffel. There's no question. That is going to be a nightmare for the Devils, especially if they want to win this series and come back. They have to win 2 games in that building, 2, and that's not easy at all. But with the playoffs, VTech right away showed he wasn't ready. He showed he just wasn't prepared for playoff hockey.
Like, why don't you know that right away? You clearly know the first game, the second game, the fourth game here, or whatever, the third game here, the fourth game. Like, you know this guy can't do it.
Yeah, Lindy Ruff failed. I'm just going to be honest with you. He failed. He failed to recognize we won game 3. Great. We blew them out. It shouldn't have been 8-4. It should have been 8-2 or 8-1. It should not have been that way. No. But you know why it was that way? Because A, our power play is so damn awful that we give up shorthanded goal after shorthanded goal. And B, VTech doesn't make the saves that we need him to make.
Right.
He won that game. The Devils won in spite of VTech. Make no mistake about that.
Wasn't the reason why they won because of him, right? It was 8-4. It would have been 8-0 if he wasn't in that.
8-4. So we lose. So we're going to lose tonight. And most of the goals, I feel like VTech should have had, if I'm being honest. And the problem also, Kyle, is this. The Devils have gone a long time since they've had consistent goaltending in their situation.
Right.
And unfortunately, they're going to go in. And again, I know the series isn't over. But when they go into the offseason, whenever that is, they're going to question the goaltending again. They're going to. They just signed VTech to a 3-year deal. Now, it's not a lot of money, so it's not like it's not a lot. I know.
Look, he's your backup goaltender. He's not a starting goaltender. He's not a starting goaltender in the playoffs because we've seen it.
Why does everybody wonder why Washington was flipping between Samsonov and VTech all of last season?
Because they couldn't.
Because neither one of them could figure it out.
Yeah, neither one, and we're seeing it, and we're freaking seeing.
By the way, we have a minute to go in this game in case y'all.
1 minute left, guys. So let's, just maybe just kind of looking forward here. Nothing's really going to happen here in the last 50 seconds. Sure. Nothing's happened in this third period. What are your thoughts going into Game 5?
I just want to see the Devils give it all they got.
Okay.
I want to see them challenge. I want to see them take chances.
Right.
I want to see them fight. Let's put it that way. I really, really want to see. I would love for them to lose. Well, I don't want them. I don't love them to lose. But if they lose, I would like to see them lose 2-1 and at least look at it and say, you know what? They fought.
Right.
And it just wasn't enough.
There is nobody in that arena right now. No. I will say this before we kind of close it out with 30 seconds left. If you're going to take them down, and again, this was something that I think Steve Dangle brought it up, actually. If you're going to take us down, you're going to get hurt while doing it. Right? And that's what the Lightning did to the Leafs for the most part. I thought that's what they did.
The Rangers did.
That's the if you're going into the locker room after this game and going into Game 5, your mindset is if you're going to take us down, you're going to pay for it. right?
Yeah.
We might lose this. You know what, Neil? You guys might lose this series, but don't let them just walk over you again with it being 6-1. Make them earn it.
Yeah.
Make them earn it, man.
Because
we didn't see it tonight. There's nobody fighting. There's nobody. Again, the same thing where there's no frustration on the Devils tonight, and that's another thing that really pissed me off with this team is that there's no fight with these guys. None.
They're very timid. They're very timid. I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the youth or anything, but even some of the veteran guys, there's no fight, and it's crazy. When they win big. When they lose, they get the shit kicked out of them, and that's what you saw here tonight. Just came to a final. Carolina wins 6-1 thanks to a 5-period onslaught in the second period, and now take a commanding 3-1 series lead with Game 5 back in Raleigh on Thursday. And for Hurricanes, 1 win away from going to the conference finals. For the Devils, 1 loss, and their season comes to I don't want to say abrupt end, but comes to a disappointing end in round 2. And we'll see what type of response we get from both teams. I'm very curious to see what Carolina responds. But
I got nothing else, Neil.
I got nothing else. I'm just going to wrap it up right now.
All right, I got nothing.
And I will just say this. Thank you all so much, as always, for hanging out with us.
Guys. Thank you.
Like and subscribe to the channel. Really do appreciate it. Check out all the podcasts here on THPN, including mine, Devil State of Mind. We'll have an episode out tomorrow. It'll be like maybe 10 minutes, if that, because I don't really have much to really say long term. But follow us also on Twitter at Devil State, Instagram at Devil State of Mind, and like us on Facebook. And stick around right here, because in just a couple of minutes, or I think right now they might have actually started. Yeah, about 7 minutes ago. We will have our second live watch on tonight. The guys from the Benders podcast will be doing the Dallas Stars Seattle Kraken Game 4. We'll see if Dallas can even it up heading back to Dallas, or do the Seattle Kraken put the Stars on the brink of elimination and go up 3-1? Thank you to everybody who hung out with us. Really quickly, again, nobody got it right in terms of score prediction. Actually, you know what? I'll give it to. I'll sort of give it to.
All right,
Jacob. He was the closest. We'll give you that. But Kyle. Thank you as always, man. Thank you to everybody hanging out with us.
5, man.
And we will see you all for Game 5. But everyone have a good night. And as I always say at the end of every live watch along, rock on.